all of you out there. 97.3 City FM. Benjamin Nketia here. The Republic of Football is what you are tuned into right now. Your one-stop shop for everything live analysis, live scores, updates, statistics, some football banter, live interaction between the audience and us right here in the studio. And as usual, we're live on City Sports GH on YouTube. We're also live on radio, like I did mention, on 97.3. We're live on TV at Channel 1 TV. So basically, we're everywhere. The game that's happening currently, that game is at Old Trafford, and it's between Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur. It's 1-0 advantage United. Brian Mbeumo getting that lone goal for United, scored in the 38th minute, assisted by Kobe Mainoo. Now, Spurs also have a red card. So Christian Romero has a red card, and I don't think that anybody would be surprised if you were asked to guess which Spurs player is most likely to pick up a red card in the game. I'm very sure quite a number of you, if you know your football, will make the right choice in picking Christian Romero. Can be a hothead sometimes, and that's the situation he's been faced with in this game. Spurs have two other yellow cards to Joao Palhinha and Destiny Udogie, and so it's the kind of game where it's a slippery slope for them. They need to be careful. Manuel Kwache is in the studio. Yao Ejimita will join us in a bit. Coach Christopher Nimley also will be joining the mix in a bit, so get their thoughts. But let me bring Kwache into the conversation real quick. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. United's game providing some drama as usual. Just opening thoughts on that real quick.
I mean, it's like a whole different team. I think once you look at all the significant change that's happened since Amorim has left the club, it's not surprising, but if you look at their record since, on the verge of 4 Premier League wins in a row, which was virtually unheard of almost under Amorim and Ten Hag. So I think that's incredible for them. And you look at the role that Kobe Mainoo is playing, especially how he was sidelined and he was agitating for a move earlier in the window, trying to see if he could get a club so he could play for the World Cup. But if you look at how he's playing right now, it's hard to doubt whether he'll be in the World Cup squad. As good as Elliot Anderson is playing at Nottingham Forest, I think Mainoo also brings a different dimension. He has a bit of mobility. He's able to play the role really well. So I think that Thomas Tuchel will be looking very interestingly at what he's been able to do now that he's come back into the team. From a Spurs perspective, I think it's slightly disappointing. Romero has been in the headlines throughout the whole week because of his outburst on social media. I think this is the second time this season that after a disappointing result, he took to Instagram to say how he feels. I think the coach was asked about it, Thomas Frank, and he said he wouldn't have done it, but he understands because Romero is a passionate character. So to then come in the next game and then get a red card, that's not good for him. And for Spurs, I understand the patience with Thomas Frank, but looking at where they are in the table, they need to start picking up wins. They were 14th before the game week started, and I don't think they are going to get anything from this game. So it all depends on what they want to do for the rest of the season, because they might still do well in the Champions League, but is Thomas Frank the one to do that with them? But yeah, those are just my early thoughts on the game so far.
So early thoughts. Let me get Yao Jimita into the conversation. Yao, what's going on?
Oh, it's fine.
Nice. Looking crisp in your polo. Quick thoughts. Let's get into that game that's happening, or the game that's happening right now. So, good long range drive from about 25 yards. Looked really good. I thought it was going to do something. Anyway, Spurs losing to United. Spurs down by a man as well. Kwachi has just provided some context to Romero and his situation, but that, for somebody who went on social media to complain. This was not how to answer the bell from a personal standpoint. It looks like he might just have cost his team 3 points in this game.
Yes, and it's more disappointing considering that he's the captain of the team. And yes, you're a passionate guy, but you should learn to manage your passion. I mean, you look at, for all the criticism that he's going through, I look at Virgil van Dijk and the way he handles himself. I think, yes, that's the way you handle yourself as a captain, especially in moments of distress or in times of adversity. You look at the criticism from former players. He recently had an interview, I believe it was with Sky Sports, and that he rather turned the heat on the former players who are now pundits, that because they have played the game, they know what it takes to be competing at this level in this particular league. And so therefore they have a responsibility on churning out constructive criticism. Right now, he has deflected the thing and turned it around. That yes, he's having a poor season. Yes, Liverpool are going through a not so great run. You see, statistically, they are fine. They went 13 games unbeaten. But when you go into the details, all is not rosy. They are going through a rough patch. It's not smooth sailing. He has been flat out average at best this season, and he's got a lot of flack for it. But you see the way he responds every time that he's interviewed. You see the way he handles his business off the field, even on the field. He doesn't lash out at people because he's frustrated. And you see the way that he's handling himself in the latest outing that he did with the interview with Sky Sports. That, right, yeah, you are former players, the pundits, yes, you criticize. It's welcome. That's what you are paid to do. But at the end of the day, because you are not just a pundit, you are not speaking from just a journalist standpoint of view. You are a player who has been through the trenches. Yes.
So we have a go. I'll come to Yao again to land on his pointing a bit, but Bruno Fernandez has given Manchester United the cushion they need in this game.
They really needed that
80th minute, United are up by 2-0 against Tottenham Hotspur. Look at what it means to them as a club. Just like the difference that a few weeks can make. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, it was all gloom, heads down, shoulders slumped. I mean, the players were not really enjoying their football and the atmosphere. And then all of a sudden, United are scoring goals, keeping clean sheets, coming back from difficult situations, or even holding up difficult situations. I think that might be subject to a little review. I'm not sure, but Bruno Fernandez popping in at the far post and then just poking the ball delicately into the back of the net. Really good goal. Not minimum fast.
Fernandez is onside, but I think because Šeško tries to head the ball as it comes to him, I don't know whether
they consider that interference
to play. So,
well, we have a couple of seconds to be able to get some clarity on that.
And so if this goal stands, and this is one thing that would mean everything regarding it stands.
So goal stands 2-0.
So Christian Romero, yes, you've cost your team 3 points because of the way you handle business. You didn't handle it in a professional manner. You didn't handle it in a way that a captain is supposed to handle his business. And now, so for me, I think he's gone about his business the wrong way. And this is not the first time that he's done it. That's quite alluded to.
Too many times.
It's happened way too many times. The social media post, I think, is becoming a new thing now with him. But the unnecessary red cards, I think, has become quite something common with him. And there was this report, or there were these reports that Christian Romero could potentially move over to Atletico Madrid, and his personality fits the style of Diego Simeone and the Atletico kind of way and the way they approach things, particularly if you are a defender. I think looking at the way things have gone so far and things are going, I think they need to revisit that report a little bit. As part of their end of season review, they need to revisit it, because you can't have a situation where your captain. It's not just any player. It's your captain going through all these or doing all these things. No, it's a no. It's something that you shouldn't have as a club. Yeah, they just have to let him go. I mean, they already have some good pieces in there. There's Van de Ven, there's Kevin Danson. I see Dragusin also in there. If they can, I think even is Ben Davies still there?
I will have to check.
Yeah, and these days he's no longer a left full back or a wing back because he's lost a lot of speed. So these days he plays as a central defender. So if you can add one piece to it or maybe maintain these 4 players, I think it should be good enough for you to play out an entire campaign without Christian Romero. You can sell him, get some good money, and then invest it in the playing unit. For me, what he's done in recent weeks is a no-no. But for Bruno Fernandez to get that second goal, it's very important because Man United really needed it to be up by a man and to have to waste so many chances. And Spurs were making incursions in the game; they were building themselves into the game, and not be able to get that second goal and that second goal cushioning or more. Yeah, it was always a worry. And so yeah, it's good for Man United that. In the 80th minute, Bruno Fernandes managed to get that second goal, and yeah, he's having a brilliant campaign so far. In the past, over the past 2 months, he's been heavily involved in everything that Man United have done in terms of goals, in terms of assists, goal contributions, and all. Yeah, and this is another to his tally. So yeah, very impressive performances so far delivered by Bruno Fernandes, and this goal more or less it buttresses the kind of form that he's been in.
Well, good thoughts there. Man United looking very fluid in the game so far.
By Brian Mbeumo. I commend him for going
went with his right foot. So
yes, normally you would have a lot of players
trying to get the ball onto their stronger foot.
Yes, or even if they are going to strike it with their weaker foot, they will strike it first time. They will take a touch, adjust themselves a little bit before they make their attempt. At that time, like you said, chance gone.
So United 2 up. What's worrying for me in this game is how lifeless and soulless Spurs look. They don't look like I don't know. It's like, okay, we know that on our calendar we need to show up on the weekend to play a football game. So we have showed up and we will play the football game, but we're not enjoying the football. Giving our own, we probably won't be here. It's looking worrying to me.
Yeah, I mean, and it will definitely look worrying to you, and it will definitely make you feel a little bit downhearted if you're a Spurs player. If you are down by a man, you are down by 2-0. And you see Man United making substitutions, and they are bringing on Mazraoui, they are bringing on Ugarte, and they are bringing on Zexi. Yeah, you're definitely going to feel a certain kind of way. And taking off Brian Mbeumo and bringing on Zexi, you know that your problems are going to be compounded, and there's no let up. And so in that sense, yeah, you kind of feel for the Spurs players. But at the end of the day, yes, they will look lifeless because they are playing against a team that has been reinvigorated. Man United look quite different from the Man United that we had 2 months ago. If it was that kind of Man United that showed up today, even if Spurs were down by a man and down by a goal to 0 or even 2-0,
they would have had a path back into the game.
Yeah, they would have viewed themselves as a team capable of coming back into the game because of how negative, I won't say toxic, but negative the atmosphere was at Old Trafford. But now you are playing against a team that has the fans on its side backing it again. You have a team that has won 3 games in a row, and they are really in a very good mood, and so it makes things difficult. That's one. That's for starters. And secondly, you Spurs, you are trying to get yourself out of a poor run of games, and then you go down by a man. You lose your captain, the main organizer in your defense. Yeah, there's nothing to play for at this point in this particular game. That's why they've looked so lifeless, and so I can't blame them because of the circumstances that they are dealing with.
A few milestones and numbers to look to. Bruno Fernandez has now been directly involved in 200 goals. So 104 goals and 86 assists in 314 games in all competitions. Now, only Wayne Rooney, 295 games, has reached this milestone in fewer matches for United in the Premier League era. So Bruno Fernandes cooking. 104 goals, 86 assists in 304 games in all competitions. Just a few thoughts on numbers like that.
And you know me, I've always been consistently saying that I don't get the Bruno Fernandes slander. I don't get it. The fact that he doesn't retain the fact that he doesn't control the ball the way, let's say, Steven Gerrard does. The fact that he doesn't pass the ball the way Kevin De Bruyne does. Oh no, okay. Better example. The fact that he doesn't control the ball the way David Silva did. The fact that he doesn't pass the ball the way Kevin De Bruyne did in the Premier League. That doesn't mean that. And the fact that he doesn't look composed like Frank Lampard, and he's always, yelling, complaining, fidgeting all over the place, it doesn't mean that he's not a good player. Or you should look at what he does for the team. And yes, there's the numbers, but you know me, forget about the numbers, put it aside. Look beyond the numbers and look at the game itself, his impact for the team. If not for Bruno Fernandes, Man United would have, I dare say, consistently been battling relegation over the past 3 years or past 3 seasons. Had it not been for Bruno Fernandes, look at their game against Fulham last week. They go up by 2-0. Then within 10 minutes they concede 2 goals. A simple pass is given to Bruno Fernandes. He lets the ball run in between his legs, and he creates a chance. He fights off a defender. He manages to swing in the cross, and yes, Benjamin Sesko scored a very good goal. But without Bruno Fernandes, that goal never comes. That goal never happens against the run of play, because Fulham they had that momentum. And this guy stepped up at the time where the hair started to drop, like, oh, here goes the same old Man United. This guy stood up and made himself count. And that for me is the impact that I'm looking at beyond the numbers. That without this guy, Man United would have consistently been battling relegation. And the fact that he doesn't do the things that the number 10s of yesteryear did does not mean that you should take away the credit that should be given to him. Yeah, do I like his first touch? I'm not blown away with his first touch. Do I like sometimes the passes that he gives in terms of the timing? That can you relax a little bit, just a tad bit, a second before you release it, because sometimes he releases it and there's no support for the guy that he's passed the ball to. So if you could just hold on for just a second and then survey the space and then make a pass, maybe a secondary pass, that would be best. But at the end of towards Bruno Fernandes, I get the feeling that they're a little bit jealous. Particularly from Paul Scholes. I get the feeling that they're a little bit jealous because with every game that Bruno Fernandes plays, with every pass or assist that he makes, every goal that he scores, it makes people like me believe that, okay, yes, there's a big chance that this guy, I might end up rating this guy ahead of Paul Scholes on my all-time list for Man United legends or players when Bruno Fernandes' career at Man United is all said and done. So for me, I don't get the whole shots at Bruno Fernandes and the level of credit that isn't given to him. Yes, I mean, everyone has his opinion, but at the end of the day, I mean, come on, this guy is definitely elite.
Well, I've always liked Bruno Fernandes, big fan of his personally, but like you rightly said, look, he gets a lot of flack as a player. I think that the modern football fan has an obsession with footballers playing the game the way they see it in their mind's eye, and so if you don't play the game like that, then I don't like you. So, i.e., if you are a number 8 and Pirlo is one of my favorite players, I mark everything by the Pirlo marking scheme.
Standard.
So if you are not calm and composed like Pirlo on the ball, you don't have that passing range, then I don't like you. Then you can talk about situations where they also want like a DM that is like tied to somebody they liked from way back in the day. You must be like a Makelele, or you must be like, football fans are like that. They like archetypes. So you don't play the game like that. Like, why is a number 10 always in a hurry to pass the ball? Like, that kind of thing. So it can be a little tricky, but I think that Bruno Fernandez does a good job. He has his own game style. I think it works for him. He's more a pass-first guy. If he gets within sight of goal, he will shoot as well. He doesn't dwell too much on the ball. And so I think he's very technical. Like, doesn't want to dwell too much on the ball. Probably thinks that there's movement around him, and so that's his game. I appreciate his game, and I've always said that the one thing that tells me that he's good enough is that he walks into any of the other big teams, Arsenal, Liverpool, City. He plays for wherever he goes, he gets a starting spot in that team.
That was a very lazy.
United should have scored a third.
Yes.
Just thoughts on that question. Quick thoughts.
No, Bruno Fernandez had the ball. Ahmad made a really good run. He passed it off to Bruno on the left, and he put an inch perfect cross into Benjamin Sesko. And I think he should have taken his time, tried to chest the ball. Maybe he could even have controlled it because there was so much space around him. But he immediately tried to go for a header, and then it went. But it was straight at the goalkeeper. I think that would have been a really good opportunity for him to, at least but from last week, after his winner last week, to back that up with another goal. But it didn't happen. But it looks like the match has ended for United, and that's 4 league wins in a row. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So one more win, and the guy
Forget
can
his
finally get a haircut.
United are up and cooking. 4 league wins in Charlie. I'm worried. What? Charlie. Those were really dark times. United had to wait a whole year for back-to-back wins.
Yeah, I think
that's crazy.
I think with Amorim, I didn't support the move to sack him midway through the season. But one thing that I've noticed with Michael Carrick is that you look at that Fulham game. After Man United conceded 2 goals and the score was tied at 2-2, Amorim would have more or less shut shop.
Taking the safer option.
Yes, the safer option to ensure that there is that bit of look
at that 2-0, 3-2, 3-2.
Yes.
So 2 clean sheets in there out of the 4 matches.
Yes.
Incredible.
Very impressive. And he would have gone in for the safer option, not because he's not an attack-minded coach, but because he just wants to prevent this whole narrative of, yes, they are losing games, they are not winning games. He just wanted that narrative to stop. And so if we keep it safe and we get a draw, yes, the criticism will come, but look, they will definitely point to the statistics. We didn't lose. And I honestly believe that I got to a point, and the slot was also looking like that. He had also adopted that kind of approach where things got a bit too heated, that he found out that, look, if I go very aggressive or I go very attack-minded style, we might end up opening up a little bit too much and concede some goals and end up losing those games. And so in order to avoid losing those games, just to ensure that, yes, one, the narrative is out of the way, and also to maintain that whole we are not losing feeling. Because if you lose, it has a certain effect on the players. And so once you are not losing, it gives you some kind of like a safe space where you can easily be able to motivate the players and get them to move on. But if you are losing, they don't even want to hear your message. So I think he played it a little bit too safe, and that's what ended up costing him. And look, I'll go back to this whole saying, like, if you play it safe, it doesn't get you anywhere, or more or less, like, scared money don't make no money. So you have to go all in. And Michael Carrick, I think sometimes with his unique position, he knows that
nothing to lose.
Even if I win 20, 50 games, I'm here on an interim basis. And so
They
why
might
don't I
pick
just
me.
go all in?
Yeah, if it works for me,
It
and
works.
United don't hire me, I've boosted my CV.
Exactly.
I can go elsewhere.
If it doesn't work, I'll just go like, okay, at the end of the day, when I came in, the place was already toxic anyway.
Yeah.
So you can't blame me.
And
that much.
the good part about that type of thing is that if Carrick's reign ends on a high, probably finishes in third or fourth Champions League slot, probably ends up even pushing a little for the title, and United don't hire him, they go get somebody else, and things go back to being slack. Fans will always back and say, we were good with Carrick. Let's go back to the
But
Carrick
they
times.
should still stick with that. The management should still stick with that interim tag. As soon as the season is done, let him work. Because at the end of the day, just ask yourself, like Roy Keane said after the Man United beat Manchester City by 2-0, is he the man who will win Man United the Champions League? That's the question that Man United
Why
fans should
Why
be
not?
asking
I don't
them.
think
Why
if
not?
anyone
So,
had seen Roberto Di
because-
Matteo when he came into Chelsea, people would have said,
Exactly.
yes, this
But
is the man who
players
needs to
that
win us the
Roberto Di
Champions League.
Matteo had, they were winners before he even got there.
Fact.
This Man United team is not there.
Oh, but
Barcelona, at the time Pep Guardiola got there, they were winners of the Champions League in that team already. And on top of that, he had
Yeah, a couple of winners.
arguably
You have a
the
World
greatest
Cup winner.
player of all time.
but with all
Man
due
United
respect,
don't have that.
United are a few years away from dreaming about a Champions League.
Thank you.
At least 2 seasons away.
Okay, exactly. But between now and then, would he be able to give you the results for him to stay and get to that point where Man United would be?
Would they back him with the quality?
Per what we've seen, they'll back him.
I think that, look, I've seen Carrick coach.
Even the Glazers that had issues back in the day, they still pumped in money to buy players.
Like I'm saying, I've seen Carrick coach. I've seen his management style. I've seen his temperament on the touchline. I think that all things being equal, yes, this might be a new manager bounce. It might be him. I think he's done the simple things. He's kept it simple. Played players in their strong positions. Been able to whip up emotion when they've needed it. Good. He's been able to play front foot football, which I think a lot of managers or Amorim was apprehensive with at times. And so he's doing all the right things. Why not back him? Because again, like I'm saying, there's a very strong chance that United are not hiring somebody who's a winner. If you are not hiring Oliver Glasner, you are not really hiring a winner. Anybody else you're hiring off their potential.
Yeah.
So it's literally the same thing. Why not hire somebody who has played for the club, who knows the club well, has been in this interim role multiple times, and understands the context of the situation. So
You're beginning to sound like our GFA people.
No, I'm not.
He knows.
No, all I'm saying, he knows their food. He knows their culture. But truth is, there's no. If it's not broken, why are you trying to fix it? Like that's my situation right now. United have struggled for when was the last time that as United fans you saw 4 consecutive greens on your league column? That's what I'm saying. So if you have that, why do you want to throw it away right now and say, you know what, he might be interim, let's not be emotional, let's go get somebody else?
Because you need to apply the same traits that have made him successful at this point in time. Be aggressive. Why are you settling? If you are Man United and you have the players that can play in a certain way, this is not like West Ham saying that we don't want David Moyes. No, this is because they wanted a certain style of play. The manager came in and it was a whole messy kind of thing. But this is Man United that have the money to be able to go get some players that will fit or complement what they already have and be able to compete for a title, let's say a Champions League title, with a manager who has accomplished more. Not necessarily in terms of winning a title, but in the sense that he's been able to get the best out of little, get his team to consistently perform over a period of time, a longer period of time, and not just 4 months. Like, let's say, in case Michael Carrick continues to excel, it will be just 5 months at best that he would have been in charge of Man United on an interim basis. Let's say I would fancy Andoni Raiola over him. Why? Because Andoni Raiola has worked better with less, and on top of that, he's been able to be the manager of a team in the Premier League that has consistently finished in the top 10. That is remarkable. Glasner has won the FA Cup. Glasner has won the Community Shield with less.
He won the Europa League, I think.
Frankfurt. I'm even looking at it from Premier League point of view. If you expand it, Andoni Iraola did wonderful work with Rayo Vallecano. He did wonderful work with less. So, in that sense, if you have these options, yes, it's true. Carrick has the edge of being a former Man United player, won the Champions League with a team. But at the end of the day, I will still go in for those managers ahead of Michael Carrick, including Xabi Alonso, if he does not go to Liverpool.
Let me ask United fans out there who are listening, would you want the team to hire Michael Carrick on a more permanent basis if they were making the decision today of the form he's had the team in? Would you want the team to hire him, or you feel like regardless of how it goes down, United should hire a different manager? I want to know what you guys think.
Before Kwasi comes in, and the thing is with Xabi Alonso, I mean, Bayer Leverkusen had never won the Bundesliga before. Look at the players that he worked with. These aren't necessarily like players that would dazzle everyone. I mean, they had Florian Wirtz, but he was even coming off an ACL. So he wasn't even at his best at the time that they won. And so you are working with Alex Grimaldo, a player who wasn't able to stick around with the La Liga teams. You look at Tapsoba is a fine player. Boniface. These guys are good, but they are not so good to the extent that they'll go an entire
Boniface
season.
had a breakout season because he's not had a season like that again.
That tells you the kind of work that the manager has put in.
Yeah.
And for you to be competing
Jeremy
against
Frimpong had some crazy numbers. He was like on 14 goals and like 13 assists by the time the season was over.
If you are able to compete in the Bundesliga with these players against a juggernaut like Bayern Munich, and you're able to go an entire season unbeaten and win the title, I mean,
let's just hold those thoughts there. Let's see if we can get some post-game thoughts from Bruno Fernandez.
It's very good with the words. I think he still remembers what I told him the last time he was our manager for our last game, and I was sure that Michael could be a great manager, and he's just showing it, and we hope that we can help him even more, so everyone can see not just us as a players that we are good players. That's why we are at Man United, but also the staff is very good.
Is it helpful having someone here as the manager that has played for the club, that understands the pressure of playing for Manchester United leading you?
No, I think everyone understands the pressure of playing for this club. If you don't understand, you start to understand very quickly, because this is a massive club and everyone knows the expectations around it. So I don't think that changes, but obviously Michael has won everything here. He knows what it means for these fans, what it means for the club to win, and how much is needed to win in this football club. So I think that adds something special to the team.
Another goal for you and another great performance. You're today's player of the match. Congratulations. Thank you.
So Bruno Fernandez, echoing my thoughts. I mean, just a few thoughts before you come in. I don't like United. I mean, it's not a secret. When they do, I don't like it. But they are doing well, and I think that it helps the league when they do well. It's almost like the NBA and the New York Knicks. Like the league is better when the Knicks are playing well. Exactly. And so it's one of those things. I like it that they are doing well, even though I don't like the team. So there's that. But what Fernandez just said embodies exactly how I feel about United. They've had so many bad times, so many trying times, that when you get in a zone where things are great, I feel like you need to protect that goodwill. You need to protect that good spell and good space you're in and ride it for as long as possible. He rightly provides context and says that Carrick has won everything at this club. He understands what it means to the fans, what victories are. And I don't think that anybody else who's played for United can embody that better than him. Ideally, I would have wanted Wayne Rooney to probably be in the dugout trying to coach, but I don't think that Rooney's coaching acumen is better than Michael. it's. I don't think it is. I don't think Scholes is a better coach. I don't think Gary Neville is a better coach. And so
definitely not.
Exactly. So there's a reason why he has made it to this point. And I feel like, look, if the decision was mine, I won't overcomplicate it. We will hire him. If it is going well, we will back him. If it starts falling apart and we need to fire him, we will fire him. That's it. To me, that's it.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that a lot of people aren't giving credit to the work he put in. Cool. So when he was at United the first time and he had the interim basis after that, he had the job at Middlesbrough. And that's in the Championship where they play 42 games a season. He actually got them to, if I'm right, he got them to the playoff final. Yeah. And they lost that. Either the semis or the final. So he actually put in work and tried to make sure that he's able to, he's not just that he's a, how do you call it, he's there based on sentimentality. He was actually able to, how do you call it, try and get a little experience himself as a coach. And now he's gone and he's come back around. And if we're including his first spell, that means he's still unbeaten.
That's some serious stuff.
Yeah, he's.
What must the man do again?
Yeah.
What must the man do again?
What must he do again? I mean, do it in a certain way that will make me confident that yes, he can win the Champions League with his team.
I mean, but that's the thing. He can get better as a manager. Maybe at where he is right now, he's not at the stage where he can win trophies. Mm-hmm. But maybe 2-3 years now, like we're seeing with Arteta, if you give them enough time, if you back them, if you give them the resources, they can start, how do you call it, producing results.
But they can go get a candidate who can make them better now.
Well, they thought all the candidates
mid-term and short term.
But they thought all the candidates they were hiring were going to make them better now, and it didn't happen.
I mean, in a sense that you can have a coach who is young enough, but at the same time good enough to get you better now. And there are candidates like that. And I mentioned them, Andoni Raiola, for instance. Andoni Raiola at this Man United team with these players, and the very likelihood that they are going to bring in more players in the main off season, because the great Carter says we shouldn't say summer. In the main off season. I mean, looking at Casemiro has to be replaced. They need to get a proper fullback at the left fullback position. With all these upgrades, you know that they are going to be better, or at least on paper. So you need the coaching also to be at that top level, and that's where I honestly believe that Man United can do better than Michael Carrick. Not that he's a terrible choice, but I think that they can do better than Michael Carrick because they do have the resources to pay for those kind of coaches who are better than Michael Carrick. And fortunately enough for them, some of those coaches would be available. And even the ones that are in free agents, you can go and buy them out of their contract, like Andoni Raiola.
Well, I have news for you. Michael Carrick is on his way to greatness, and this is the beginning of his greatness. You are downplaying his ability. I'm sure he considers himself in the bracket of the Iraolas and co you are talking about. I'm not sure, but
are you sure Michael Carrick can qualify? To the
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that you see. Probably you're thinking that Iraola has done like good work in La Liga before he came.
Was it Conference League or Europa League that Bournemouth went to?
It was the
Conference League. Yeah, it was Conference League. Yeah, with these players.
I'm just saying, like in your sense, right? You're saying that he's done Bournemouth. In his mind, he's also saying, well, I played for United, I played for Spurs. Now I've interim at United the first time, I've interim the second time. I'm still unbeaten. Well, you might think those Bournemouth spells are great, but I think that the mere fact that I have touched United's, soil and touched United's reins as like a coach, that's big, and that's a big deal for me. So I don't know, but if again, like I say, I remember Carrick the player a lot. Like I always say that
underrated.
A lot of times, the great legendary players don't tend to make great managers. Carrick, I won't go as far as calling Carrick a legend or anything. Carrick was a great midfielder, very underrated in how he carried out his duties. And I think that as a manager, he embodies that a lot for me in a very sneaky way. If I had the choice, like I'm saying, I will make him the manager. And the posts are up on YouTube. I have a couple of people voting in. So far, we have 58 people voting. 76% say yes, he deserves the job on a full-time basis. 23% say no, United need a more experienced manager. Let me read a few more comments from YouTube. I'll take a few more thoughts, and then we will go on to build on to the other 3 p.m. matches. So, Sweet Kwame says VVD complains towards his teammates. This one says that Ben, can you see that Amorim was the problem at United? I pick you. These guys are all enjoying themselves. BB9846 says Sesko is naive. Why did he think he had to head that ball when he was not under any pressure? This one says that Kenneth Frimpong says appoint the Bournemouth coach. No to Carrick. So another Iraola fan over there. This one here says I'll suggest Otto Addo to the United hierarchy, aka Otto Terzic, aka Otto Klopp. That's from William Mepe with that one. And then Sweet Kwame comes in with a couple of messages. I'll read them in a bit. Tenkus GH says that the guy should stop mentioning Ariola's name. I think you mean Iraola. He said, what has he done? Amorim himself couldn't handle United. Who thought Ten Hag will fail at United?
That's why I'm so specific on Premier League coaches. Premier League, because it's different. The leagues vary. Amorim coached in the Portuguese league. In the Champions League, things are different. Yes, you open up, you play. But in the Portuguese league, at the end of the day, it's a knockout competition. So the sample size is quite small. But over a league period, you get tested. The sample size is way bigger. Yeah. And in the Portuguese league, you don't get tested that much if you are Sporting Lisbon. So making that step up to manager or head coach of Man United, and it's not just even a Premier League, any Premier League club, it's Man United. That is a big gap. And unfortunately, he couldn't step into that gap and be able to withstand the tide. That's why I am very, very, very heavy on Premier League coaches.
Coaches with Premier League experience. Yeah.
I mean,
let's wrap the conversation up. We need to talk
yeah.
about some of the other 3 p.m. matches. So let's
I feel like a lot of things were said similarly about Thomas Frank and how do you call it, Graham Potter and managers like that when they were at the smaller clubs and they were looked at with a lot of potential. A lot of these coaches, I think it depends on context, and I think it also depends on what United want now. Because you mentioned that they brought a lot of managers who were now managers. Every single manager United have had. I think I probably have to go back all the way to Moyes. All of them have made it to cup finals at least. Even Social made it to a European Cup final. Amorim made it to a European Cup final. Yeah. So they've had managers who were geared towards winning. Other managers came and were able to win trophies, but they weren't able to build the club along with them. If they actually want to start now and build a club, they need someone like Michael Carrick. Maybe not necessarily him, but they need to be able to sacrifice the fact that, okay, maybe for a while we won't be competitive yet, but that is why we're building a squad that will be able to come in. And then 2-3 years now later, they can secure Champions League qualification. It can be a guarantee. It's not an uncertainty when the league starts. Yeah. They can actually start competing for trophies.
Yeah, so that's the word on United. I'll go back to my poll at the end of the show. Let me see how many of you think that Michael Carrick has earned the right to coach United for the long term. Not even the great Jose Mourinho and the great Louis van Gaal managed for back-to-back wins immediately. Some of them took like 8 months to do that stuff, so impressive. Anyway, let's go to that Arsenal game. Arsenal up against Sunderland. Arsenal are at the Emirates, and it's a 4-3-3. Starting lineups are out for that one. So David Raya is in post. Raya has become easily one of the best goalkeepers in the world in such a short period. You can talk about Ricardo Calafiori, but for centre-back duties, has spent a good chunk of his time playing at left-backs, some even at defensive midfield occasionally. Gabriel Magalhaes, Saliba and Timber. So it looks like a full-strength Arsenal backline. These days, Calafiori is literally their default left-back. So I guess that's what it is. You wanted to make a quick point?
No, on Arsenal's defense, there hasn't been as solid at the start of the season. It looked like they wouldn't concede a lot of goals, but there's had to be some chopping and changing in their defense. But it looks like, at least for now, they're back to full strength. Yeah.
So Arsenal back to full strength in defense. When you look at the midfield, so Zubimendi, Rice, and Havertz, very interesting. Madueke, Jesus, and Trossard. That's how they round up for the starting 11. Just quick thoughts on that starting 11. Very interesting. Havertz in the middle of the park. Madueke, Jesus, Trossard. Havertz might be interchanging and moving up.
Eze.
Yeah.
Eze is on the bench. That's a
Eze
really
is on
bad
the
tackle.
bench.
Eze has been frozen out for a minute. If we have been honest,
I think
he's not been playing as much as everybody thought he would.
Yeah, this is surprising, especially because this Odegaard is out this week, so you think that the person who would slot in there naturally would be Eze, but it looks like he's reverting back to initial experiment with Eze. I think when Havertz came in initially, he played him in midfield. If you remember, him and Fabio Vieira were alternating as, I think, a midfield 8. It was last season.
Wasn't that the formation or that system that annoyed everybody?
Yeah, then he moved Havertz to the front line, and that seemed to work because Havertz was scoring. He scored midweek as well against Chelsea to help them qualify to the final of the Carabao Cup. So him and Jesus, since they've come in, they've been in really good form. They look like even though they've both been out for a while, Jesus especially, he looks like he's picked up his scoring touch, and he's never been one especially for scoring per se. I think his more about his link-up play and his interplay with other players. But it looks like since he came back into the team, he's been able to add goals. For Arsenal, this is as good a team as they could have. Obviously, they'd probably like Saka to be in the team. Hopefully, the injury to Saka isn't too long and he can come back into the team. But Madueke himself has proved as a very steady deputy. Because initially, we thought Eze could also be someone who could be playing on the wings. But it looks like he wants Eze through the center. And now that Odegaard is out, it's surprising that he didn't go for him. With Marino too not being in the team, I thought maybe Eze could easily get a start now. But maybe he's also adopting the Guardiola school where he just rotates players a while. So it looks like for a while you're in the team, for a while he takes you out. And if you look at his bench, even though he has players injured, that's actually a very strong bench. That's just those are Hinkapie. There are a lot of good players who would probably be starting for Ben. Lots of good players.
Ben White is also on the bench.
Yeah, a lot of good players who would probably be starting at lots of different Premier League teams. So their strength and depth is still there, and it's going to be very hard on his part to keep a lot of people happy in this team. Only way he can do that is if they actually win a trophy at the end of the season. So,
yep. Yeah. And they always tell you about your role in a championship team. You might not play as much. When they call you up, you need to be ready. The bench has Mosquera, White, Hinkapie, Eze, Martinelli, Kepa, Gyökeres, and Norgard, as well as Miles Skelly. These are all national team level players in a way. So Skelly, I mean, on the outside looking in at England, Norgard definitely starts for his national team. Gyökeres,
all of them are
exactly.
I think so internationals.
Yeah. So that's quite the bench. That's
going to be very difficult to keep all of them happy throughout the season if they are not winning trophies. Especially Gyökeres, because he was supposed to be the missing element, and it looks like they are finding their way to go on without him.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's scored a couple of goals here and there. Obviously, some important, some looking like they are maybe a sign of things to come, but he still hasn't been able to fit in perfectly well with the team. I think it's because the cast around him constantly changes. So maybe one time he's playing with Martinelli and Saka, then it's Madueke and it's a Trossard, and most of these players too are also like they can smell a goal. Someone like Trossard, Madueke, they are able to not necessarily always have to be the ones who cross the ball in. And I think that's another problem now we're playing inverted wingers. Not a lot of wingers want to cut in and then put a cross into the striker. They want to cut in and shoot. And it means that they have to either be someone like maybe Javi Simmons. You have to have that creative eye, or is it where you can spot a pass when someone makes a movement. Other than that, your mind is usually going to be on cutting in, getting in on goal and trying to score.
Well, Pastor Mauli is sending me a message. He's a United fan. He says that what did Zidane do before coaching Madrid? The team is playing well and winning games. What else should the club look for? So he says that I think he's on the Carrick in bill.
The thing is, the Madrid team was built already before Zidane got there. And they had won the Champions League before Zidane got there. So getting them to win the Champions League to stabilize his reign in there, I wouldn't say it was easy, but it was a bit more straightforward than it is with Man United.
I mean,
you get it.
I think Man United there's a lot of pressure at Man United, but Real Madrid,
more than Real Madrid.
And that's what I'm about to say. So it's the fact that I get that it seems very simple, but having to do all these things, playing the right players, getting all these egos to work well at Real Madrid, is a bit more of an achievement than it's being made to sound.
I mean, Real Madrid, Zidane just walked in there. Zidane, that's it. I'm sorry, but like that's the truth, because at the end of the day, just do it. Just
and you know the funny thing is, being the kind of guy he was, it's very easy for him to connect with those type of players because he was star level, superstar level, very arrogant about his abilities. Like, it's very easy for him to connect with them on that level.
Famous clip where Cristiano Ronaldo, they were at training, and Cristiano Ronaldo was practicing free kicks also. He wasn't able to score the goal. Zidane went in there, he stood behind the ball, he kicked it, he scored. That is it takes a lot to more or less quieten Ronaldo for a while, and he didn't need to talk. And he showed you and made you look like, you know what? Maybe if this guy says something, I should really take a step back and listen to him.
And the difference between that and Xabi Alonso is that Xabi Alonso is more a team first guy. Like, he's more, okay, don't try to be selfish, don't try to be focused on getting your individual stats. You need to make the team look good, and you need to sacrifice some of your qualities to make the team look good. And those players, they don't like to hear those type of things.
They don't tell you go out there, score goals, because at the end of the day, you have a younger Casemiro in there who prevents the goals from coming, and you stabilize the defense. Easy.
I mean, is there an aura thing? Because Ole too could have gone in and been like, I'm the guy who scored the winning goal in the 1999 Champions League final.
And it worked for a while though.
No, it was working actually. It was working, and that's why I think Ole gets more flack than he deserves. I feel like for the level of experience he had when he was coming in, he did a pretty decent job at United. In the end, they all crumbled around him, but he didn't do a bad job.
I feel like Ole was really unlucky. I mean, that Europa League final against Villarreal, where they how they call it, De Gea wasn't able to score his penalty. He went, they played all the way. Was it about 11 penalties?
So there's that.
He was quite unlucky in certain moments, and finishing second to Guardiola at that point, I also think that was quite an achievement.
It was impressive. Just thoughts on that Arsenal lineup. Madueke in for Bukayo Saka, Trossard been in pretty decent form, Gabriel Jesus also in the mix.
It's a solid lineup. I mean, I wouldn't slight Arteta for it. It's just that pair the needs that they had prior to the season, and Arsenal backing him and going to sign players who were coming in to solve those needs. Rotating the squad and playing against a team like Sunderland, this was the time for you to play those guys. In the sense that, because Odegaard is the captain, selecting or playing Madueke, or playing a guy like Eze was a bit of a dicey issue. Okay, now Odegaard is out of the way. So why don't you play Eze? Especially knowing very well that Kai Havertz has come in as a starter when he just recently recovered from injury. So in that sense, you are not necessarily utilizing the resources that you have in the best way. Gyökeres, this is the time to play a guy like Gyökeres, but you've benched him and you are playing a guy like Jesus, who has been good. Don't get me wrong, he has been good, but at the end of the day, he just recently returned from injury, a major injury, ACL injury. So why are you even using him as a starter? Why are you not having him come off the bench as he's usually done over the past few games? Ensure that you are building him up for a grandstand finish, because at the end of the season, it will be a grandstand finish. You're already qualified to play in the Carabao Cup final, which is in March 22nd. You are in pole position to make a deep run in the Champions League, because last year they played in the semi-finals. So it's very likely you are going to repeat that thing. You are competing for the league title. So that is where you need a guy like Gabriel Jesus to come in and then get the job done. So you need Gyökeres to start and build that confidence and look like himself as he was at Sporting. this is the kind of game that you need him to be able to start. So for me, the system is fine.
Yeah.
But it's just the few choices in those two positions that, I wish you could have done better. It's good, but I wish you could have done better by bringing in the players that Arsenal spent a lot of money to get into the team to be able to solve these kind of problems in this at this point in the season.
Victor Gyökeres, expensive signing, has still not found his feet in the Premier League.
He didn't come cheap.
Arsenal, exactly, and Arsenal some way somehow getting along just fine without those players. Will that be felt in today's game? Well, kickoff is officially upon us. The game has kicked off. Arsenal kicking off from left to right from where I sit. So that's how it's looking like. Looks like they want to make an early statement. Let me go through the lineup for Sunderland. They have Roofs in post, Mukiele, Ballard, Alderete, and Mandava. Ballard is having quite the season. Also in defense, in midfield they have Sadiki and Diarra, and then they have Talbi, Enzo Lefebvre, and Hume, and then Brian Brobe leading the line. So very unassuming lineup. Regis Lebris is the manager. All season they don't look a very fancy side on paper, but if you sleep on the job, they are very capable of punishing you. Kwache, thoughts on Sunderland in this one?
Yeah, I mean, they've had an incredible season. They had a 3-0 win on Monday against Nottingham Forest, I think, and it's only for just further evidence of how good they've been this season. My problem with them is that most of their good form has come at home, at the Stadium of Light. And obviously, as when you come up as a promoted team, that's probably one of your ambitions. Try and make your home ground a difficult place for other teams to come and win, and they've definitely done that. But I think they need to find a way to also be more expansive when they go out and play against other teams. They do the first game against Arsenal this season, so they've been able to get results. You're talking about Ballard. He scored that last minute equalizer for Sunderland. So they definitely know how to play against Arsenal. It's just a matter of whether they'll be able to take their chances when it comes. Brian Brobe too has also been quite impressive. Like I said, their recruitment model throughout the window earlier during the summer was quite commendable. Because if you look at the talent that they have, they didn't spend more than 20 million on a single player, but they were able to bring in so many players, and the coach was able to adjust all of them. Because one of the problems with the Championship team is when you're coming out from the Championship, the problem is you've taken a lot of players from Premier League clubs, so you've loaned in a lot of players on that money. So once they perform well and they're able to get you promoted, the Premier League club just look at them and think that, oh, you increase their value, let me now sell him to a different club, or increase how much you have to pay for them. So it means that sometimes you can lose about half your squad by the time you get promoted. But they found a different way around that problem. Their recruitment deserves a lot of praise. But for Arsenal, this is definitely a match that they need to win, and it's one of those games where if you go out without winning, and there's a lot of tension building up. Obviously, they are 6 points clear now, but if the longer the game goes on,
6 points is nothing at all, really, because the teams behind Arsenal are kind of beginning to wake up. United, especially, Liverpool have shown signs of life a little. I mean, better than earlier in the season. Chelsea look like they are stabilizing their ship a little. And talking about Chelsea, they have a date with Wolves that has kicked off already. Let me give you lineups to that game, and then we'll also get to talking about a couple of other stuff regarding that one. But that game has also kicked off. I'm getting into the lineups in a few seconds. When you get to Chelsea, 4-2-3-1, they are the away side in this game. Sanchez is in post, Malo Gusto, Fofana, Chaloba, and Kukurea. That's the back four. You have Santos and Caicedo holding the middle. Neto, Fernandez, and Palmer. And then you have Joao Pedro leading the line. When you go to Wolves, 4-2-3-1, same. Jose Sa in post. Doherty, Mosquera, Bueno, and Bueno. That's how it is. Gomez and Gomez in the middle.
They have four Gomez's in the team. Four Gomez's.
It's crazy.
Players that whose name ends with Gomez. Four.
Yeah, Angel Gomez and then the Brazilian Gomez. So that's what it is. Juan, Armstrong, and Mane, and then Orokodare will be leading the line. That will be their undoing today because he is an absolutely terrible finisher. I'm not sure how he made it into the Premier League. I'm not sure how he's leading the
He did have a good season.
Is he the Nigerian striker, right? Yeah. He's terrible. I'm not sure how he made it.
He had a good season with Genk last season.
He did. It was the Jupiler League. Coach Christopher Nimley has just joined us. Coach, good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, bro.
Let's get into it. Your dear United have won 2-0, but Chelsea 4 wins on the bounce. Oh, Charlie.
Against Bagbo, against Bagbo.
Things are looking good.
He's been brought to do a job. At the end of the season, we are looking at Luis Enrique level.
Hey, Charlie.
You see? We are looking at Luis Enrique.
Charlie, I have a YouTube poll where United fans are responding. So far, I have 130 votes. 72% say Michael Carrick deserves the job fully.
On condition that
28 say you should hire a more experienced manager.
I will, if United is to give the job to Southgate, Glasner, is that not the name of the
Glasner,
Palace coach.
The Palace coach, and then there's this other coach. If Southgate, Glasner, and I've forgotten the other name, if they are the options, then give the job to Michael Carrick. But if we are talking about the likes of Luis Enrique, Thomas.
You don't like Glasner?
Oh, man, Glasner.
Europa League winner?
No.
FA Cup winner with Palace?
You should get another team and coach, not United. Look, it is today that things has changed. But United, from Sir Alex Ferguson, look at the coaches. Fergie was the one who caused this. When he was leaving, he dropped the bar to Moyes. But quickly it went back to what? Louis van Gaal.
It was supposed to be Guardiola.
It was supposed to be Pep. And then he extended his stay. And Pep, after that, is it 1 or 2 years sabbatical, decided that 1 year I'm going to Man City.
Bayern Munich.
Yes, Bayern Munich. They had a meeting. Pep thought he was going to say, come take over. And then he told Pep that he should wait. He wants to exit by winning the league. And Pep couldn't wait. So from Pep, it went to Moyes. Look at it. From Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Sana Bano, Nakane Bale. But the truth be told, in current world football, if you are talking about coaches of Manchester United caliber, Enrique, Carlo Ancelotti, Thomas Tuchel, Toto Alotti.
Even those are the people you should be looking at.
Of course. If you are a Jim Ratcliffe and you mean business and you want to compete, these are the coaches you should be looking at. But if you are not going to give the job to Luis Enrique, let him the France, he should leave the France there.
Didier Deschamps.
No, Luis Enrique. He should leave that place and come to a better league. So if he's moving to a better league and it's the English league,
it should be United.
It is only one team that he can come and coach. That is his team from childhood, Manchester United.
He told you that?
Of course, that's the team he supports in England from childhood. A team in Kediache.
Goodness.
So Luis Enrique, Thomas Tuchel, Carlo Ancelotti, if he, after coaching Brazil in the World Cup, he wants to move back to club football, Manchester United. Xabi Alonso, if you want to, not because of his Liverpool connection, he can come and misbehave.
No, coach.
You wait. He's not of the class of the coaches I've mentioned. If you want to drop the bar
a little,
then you
to
can
the next
consider
level.
him. Then you can consider him. But the light, what you give this, hey, if you are going to give the job to Southgate,
Charlie. Arsenal living dangerously in that game.
Robert should have just planted this ball in the
So
net.
Nimley has made his point clear. Nimley and Yao are on the same side.
Yeah,
they say that
for Carrick,
United need to hire.
Do a job. You see, we've seen this before. We've seen this legend bounce before. You understand? Ole plays second in the league. I remember that day against Watford. Do you remember?
Yeah.
When he virtually stood on the touchline and cried like a baby. That was his last game, and then he got fired. So the point I'm making is that Carrick has done fantastic. I think he's one more win away from the so that the guy will baba his hair. that is going to be against West Ham. West Ham, they will open up with the form of Bruno Fernandez. Nobody stand in his way now. The awareness man is back. He's influencing and impacting games with cheeky ease. Whether you like it or not, he's on top of his game. Which team can you mention in the world that Bruno Fernandez will not enter? Tell me, which team? Which team? Which team? Tell me, which team? Awareness goeth into every team and he dominates.
Facts.
The statistics are there. The records are there. The football is there for everybody to see. So that's the point we are making. Matthias Cunha, change. This is not Garnacho, Sancho, Rashford combo. It's a Mbumo, Cunha, Bruno Awareness Fernandez, Ahmad, supported by what? Benjamin Sheshko. Proper combo. Combo emichi, eye wale, eda, echi, e passage, e kudomiame, e kuomiame. 4 out of 4.
Let me see his next round of matches, and I think that this run could go on a little longer. So next up for United in the league is West Ham at the London Stadium.
But they came and they drew. They will pay the price. They will be relegated.
Then they have Everton at the Hill Dickinson
That
Stadium.
was the same 10 against 11.
That looks like a grudge game for United.
Nagote.
How that game was.
How it ended,
yep.
They also pay the price there.
Then Palace will come to Old Trafford. United go to St. James's.
That is the problem.
Tricky game.
They
have a tricky game against Aston Villa as well.
Oh, no,
but
Villa,
West Ham, Everton, Palace.
Look,
this run could go on a little
my
longer.
only worry there of the next 5 games is that games at the St. James's. Finish. As for Aston Villa, no Tillman, no McGinn, no Kamara, no Onana. The midfield is weak. So awareness will just penetrate and give the passes. They will not come and sit back. They will open up and will punish them.
Anyway, good thoughts there. Let's talk about that Chelsea game happening. We'll also spend some time talking about Arsenal. Chelsea are drawing goalless at the Molineux up against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves losing games in droves still, really. The football has been better, but somehow they still can't pick themselves up. Rosinha actually also talking tough at Chelsea. Results have been a little mixed, but thoughts on Rosinha at Chelsea so far? How are they looking in the game like this?
I mean, in a game like this, they are definitely favorites. They definitely have should win this game. If you look at Wolves from the season, they've picked up just a little under Rob Edwards, but they haven't picked up to the extent where it looks like they are not.
We have a penalty. We have a penalty on our hands.
No.
I was.
No. This cannot be a penalty.
It looks a little controversial, but I still think the referee might be justified. When I saw my first instinct was
it's a penalty.
Let's see this again. So Joao Pedro protected. That is a ridiculous.
It's a stupid penalty.
Yeah, the defender.
It's a penalty.
He doesn't have common sense.
Penalty. He's not going anywhere.
He's going away from the white team.
And you can tell that Joao Pedro was trying to bait him. He was trying to get him to make a rash tackle, and that's exactly what he did. I'm telling you.
You spent all week preparing your team,
game planning, and then after 12 minutes, somebody gives away a penalty.
Imagining all the scenarios. Okay, if they bring the ball up down this flank, this is how we will defend. If we are on the counter attack, this is how we will defend.
To be honest,
we are going through all these sequences.
If I'm the coach,
West Ham have scored in their game. I'll give you an update real quick.
I will substitute the player immediately.
Madoheti.
I will change him.
Too much experience to be doing that.
I'll change him immediately.
Cole Palmer behind the ball.
Palmer will score this
a
ball.
chance
Simple.
to make or give Chelsea the lead in this one. 12 minutes played. Chelsea have a penalty.
Oh, Easy does it. Palmer, Easy does it.
Cole Palmer sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, and he is cold.
Palmer,
Ice in his veins. Cole Palmer gives Chelsea the lead. It's 1-0 from the penalty spot. Yeah, that is a terrible penalty to give up. Coach, thoughts on that one?
There was no sense in that. I tried giving him the benefit of the doubt, but when I saw the replay, I will substitute him immediately if I'm the coach. In because,
minutes.
like you rightly said,
12 minutes.
All the hard work, all the sleepless night, all the cones,
the strategies,
everything has been thrown out of the bus. Everything. What destroy everything?
All in 12 minutes.
But it's only 12 minutes. Lots of football to be played.
Oh, but,
but
look,
Wolverhampton,
if
they
you
don't
are
have the
Wolves,
confidence to
if
bounce.
you are Wolves, you go into this game handicap. More
Yeah.
the investors understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Daniels, what's up? The investors understand what I'm saying. You go into this game very handicapped, and on top of that, in the first 12 minutes, you give more advantage to Chelsea by conceding this unnecessary penalty,
Yeah.
and you concede a goal. So more or less, you talk a big hope
Now
for
you're
yourself
forced to do out
be
of
able
character
to-
stuff.
Exactly. So this, I don't see a way back for them, because at the end of the day, Liam Rossini, I mean, what 7 games he's lost 2,
I mean, he's. I think.
and
about
those,
7
and those 2 games it was to Arsenal. I mean, pretty much the best team in England at this point in time. And so if you are playing against such a team and you are Wolves, you don't concede a penalty like that. I mean, let it be, let's say,
A well-worked goal.
a well-worked goal, or a situation where it strikes your defender's arm or a player's arm where
You have no control over the situation.
Exactly. Or we have to go to VAR for force VAR to make a controversial decision so that we can bash VAR more. But this is a situation where you made the referee's decision very easy. There was no even a need for VAR. The guy just pointed to the spot because it was so clear.
It was a very bad
It was
tackle.
so clear. I mean, you can't do this. You can't do this. Once you concede a goal in such a poor manner as early as it did, you just demoralize the team.
So they are going to
And they are going to concede the second goal because their goalkeeper is out
Yes,
of his area.
It's just like the Tottenham Hotspur Man United situation. Very early in the game, you go and no, even that one lasted more than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You go and concede such an unnecessary red card. And funny enough, it was Cristiano Romero who did that, the captain. Guess what? Matt Doherty is the captain for Wolves, and he committed that penalty. Like, that is not leadership by example.
Yeah.
That is a no-no.
Not the type of way.
Like Coach said, you have to take him off. You have to take him
I
off.
will substitute him quick.
You are the captain. You know the situation that your team is in.
You set the tone.
Why do you do such a thing? I mean, seriously.
I mean, a moment of madness from Matt Doherty. They just lost his head for a bit. But like I said, West Ham United have taken the lead in their own game against Burnley. Crescencio Somerville, looks like we have an equalizer in that game. Hold on a minute. I'll be giving you an update in a bit. But I think Burnley have equalized in that game. I'll be just bringing you up to speed in a bit. I'll confirm that for you very shortly. It's goalless between AFC Bournemouth and Aston Villa. It's also goalless between Arsenal and Sunderland. That Arsenal-Sunderland game has also had a few very interesting moments there. Arsenal battling it out, very slow in their build-up. Always try to be almost perfect with their chance creation. There they have a chance in front of goal. This game was tricky last time out. It looks like they will have to dig deep to get something out of it this time around as well. You want to make a few thoughts on that?
I think that's the 5th game in a row in all competition that Somerville has scored for West Ham.
Wow.
So 4 in the Premier League and 1 in the FA Cup. So
This is the Somerville I thought needed to show up when they were signing him. For some reason, he seemed really lost. I think it was under
that
the previous
former coach,
manager, Lopetegui. Yeah,
he didn't know what to do.
Seemed really lost under him. Looks like he's finally reaching or beginning to remind us about the kind of player they paid money for.
yeah, I mean, I feel like Nuno's unlocked them a bit, and him and Bowen. I think Bowen too also needed that sort of someone else to take the weight off him as well. Because for a lot of time, it felt like if he wasn't able to do something, West Ham would not be able to get a goal. So that's a good run. That's a good run of games for him. West Ham themselves look like they want to pick themselves out of the relegation zone. I don't know how that's going to work out for them. Because if you look at just with the result as it is right now, they would be 3 points away from Nottingham Forest and 3 points away from safety. But I also don't think that Forest themselves, I don't know, they haven't been as consistent. They look like they started very well under Sean Dyche, but they haven't been able to pick up results as and when they needed. So but West Ham are doing quite well. So they look like, out of the teams in the relegation zone, they look like the team that most likely, if one of them is going to get out, definitely looks like West Ham might be that. And that's surprising because there were talks about Nuno probably losing his job earlier on in the season, but it looks like he's been able to get them to work out they were able to give him his signing, Adama Traore.
Yeah.
That's I'm happy for him that
the wrestler Traore.
and like I was saying last time, the irony of the situation is Adama Traore is one of the reasons why relationship at Nottingham Forest soured, because he was trying to get him in the club, but the club had different options and went for, I think, Omari Hutchinson and different options, and things ended up not working for them. But it looks like at West Ham they've been able to work that out. Also, I think the sign of Angel Gomez is quite interesting. It's a loan deal. I see. It doesn't look like it'll be a permanent, but he was someone who was 2 seasons ago at Marseille. He was having a, I wouldn't say it's a breakout season, because he had some time at United. I don't know how extended that was.
Before Marseille, I think he had a pretty good season. I think it was at Lille.
Yeah.
It was at Lille for a bit. He was pretty decent there as well. And
But I'm surprised Garnacho is not in the team for Chelsea.
Charlie,
He's
you know,
the topmost winger.
don't do this. Don't do this.
That's what they said.
Garnacho is minding his own business
So they
somewhere.
told us that
And someone even said, okay, now that he's being benched, why doesn't he run off to the media and complain the same way he did when he was with Man United?
He's settling at his new club.
No,
let me give you a
with
quick
Chelsea,
update.
If you do that, the next moment you'll be
Yeah.
at Strasbourg.
you are out.
Let me give you a quick update. Between Fulham and Everton, Fulham have scored in that game. It's 1-0. I think it's an own goal. Yes, Mikolenko with an own goal in that game to give Fulham a 1-0 advantage. So that's the update from that particular one. Coach, just quick thoughts on the games you are watching. I'm not sure which one you are zoning in
I'm
on.
very much interested in the Arsenal Sunderland game. Arsenal,
Yeah.
surprisingly, are struggling to impose themselves.
Yeah.
Sunderland are really, really matching them boot for boot, and it's an open game with nobody actually dominating proceedings. It's been a ding-dong battle back and forth there, and then you can clearly see that Sunderland has a game plan. They've come here believing they can
get something out of
they
this.
can get something out of this. And for me, if you have a team like this, then you should be very careful if you are an Arsenal. They shouldn't drop any guard. If they do anything of the sort, Sunderland will punish them, and that is going to make the league even more interesting. As it stands now, it's still goalless, and we've played 21 minutes, and Arsenal doesn't seem to be creating any clear-cut chances. Actually,
I was just
Truth
about
be told,
I was just about
Sunderland
to
should
come to
have been in the lead, because if
Brian Broby.
Brian Broby had actually planted that ball well, Sunderland should be at least a goal up.
Arsenal in with a chance. I was about to come to you on what they are doing with Havertz, because Havertz is back in the midfield in that game. But let me just give you a quick update from the Bournemouth Villa game. Aston Villa have scored away from home. Morgan Rogers on target for Aston Villa. Now, Morgan Rogers is threatening Jude Bellingham's starting spot in England for the World Cup. And it's something that we as Ghanaians will be very interested in.
As it stands,
Yes.
Morgan plays.
Yep. He's been
As
told
it
that
stands, he plays.
Rogers is the preferred choice to start for England as things stand. I'm saying this because as Ghanaians, we are extremely interested
England.
in who starts for England and who doesn't. So
yesterday, I saw the Semenyo video, right? He was with Maguire, and Maguire is going to play for England. Very likely he's going to play for England. And Semenyo, is very likely going to play for Ghana. And we were just both sizing up each other. You could tell, like, okay, so I'm going to be playing against you in June.
Yeah.
And you can tell that Maguire looks at Semenyo like, okay, this guy is a fantastic player. And this is the kind of player, or these are the kind of players that we are going to be up against. And so, we'll definitely have to really step up. And I look at that Morgan Rogers, Jude Bellingham battle, and I know that Cole Palmer is safe because, like I've said before, he is different. He is different. Because of the way he plays the game, he is different. Morgan Rogers and Jude Bellingham, they're hard runners. They create through their vertical threat. And so one has to go. And
Rogers is better at doing that than Bellingham, driving the ball through the middle of the park.
You can't have a situation where you put all of them in that same team, ignoring the other positions. And so in order to have good balance, one has to be dropped. That's why for me, at the way Arteta is using Eze, I know that he's not going to the World Cup. Eze is not going to the World Cup.
That would be tragic.
he's not going to the World Cup because he too is the same, more or less. But he adds a little bit of dribbling to his style.
So Thomas Tuchel, if you don't play, you won't go.
He won't go. I don't see him go.
Titi.
I don't see him going to the World Cup. No. And between Bellingham and Rodgers, one will drop. And at this point in time, it is looking like Bellingham might just be the one to be dropped. Because you need creators. And the way Tuchel is likely to set up his team, he's going to start Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson. And so you need that player who will be able to just create something out of nothing at all.
Yeah.
And you get that in Phil Foden. You get that in Cole Palmer.
Yeah.
Then you have your hard runner in Morgan Rogers or Jude Bellingham. So one has to be in there, one has to stay, or
Right
one
now
has to be dropped.
Even in midfield, Kobe
Menu is also gaining momentum.
Gaining serious momentum. It's coming to the mix.
Game time,
And he's
playing well.
If you want a player who calm down, control the game,
Very
slow
different
things,
from,
very
again, the
different.
kind of players they have.
Yellow card to
Yellow
Saliba.
card, ref. Hands all over him. That's right.
Yeah, so
Saliba. Yeah, he got beaten. He had to
Arsenal really in a battle for their lives
They
in
are
this
in the
one.
game.
Cool, just quick thoughts. I was going to ask. So in this game, they are playing Havertz as part of a midfield three in the absence of Odegaard. You spoke about struggle to create chances. How do they navigate that? Because it's been a thing for me. They have games where they are either creating lots of chances or they play games where they can barely create anything and they rely on a dead ball to rescue them.
Truth be told, this Arsenal team are creating less chances than when they even had an out-and-out, than when they didn't have an out-and-out striker. Now that the striker is in the team, we expect them to create more. They are creating limited chances. I was listening to Thierry Henry somewhere during the week where he said they are on top of the league because in terms of the set piece, they are one of the most efficient teams when it comes to set pieces. Apart from that, it's because of the set piece. Wow, the defender is very strong. Apart from the fact that they are very efficient on set pieces, that is why they are on top of the league.
And they are good defensively.
And defensively too, they look very solid.
Yeah.
So, but that is going to be a problem because you see, at this point in time, yes, you wouldn't actually care. A win is a win; you take it. But there are too many games left. I think this is after this week we'll be left with 13 more games to go. 13.
It's a lot of football.
It's a lot of football.
Yep.
So that you have to get your team to be playing in a way that will make life a bit easy and comfortable for them. I don't see them doing so. I don't know why Arteta have decided to go with Havertz instead of Eberici Eze. I just don't know why. Because I would have thought that technically Eberici is the better player. He would do things a bit differently in terms of let's up it, let's drop it. Is it those type of footballers? They are very much needed.
Control tempo. Long pass if I have to, dribble if I have to. Yep.
They are very, very.
Arteta doesn't like those type of players.
Why did he buy him?
I don't know.
Because
I don't know.
I would have thought that one Odegaard is not in the team. Kahave just came back from injury. You will begin to warm.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing. Long-term injury. Why are you throwing him in?
Bench Eberici just like that.
And for a player you paid a lot of money for too.
60 million. Yes, I understand.
I don't know.
Kahaves came for something very similar or slightly above that. But Eberici is the kid on the block.
Yeah.
He just
coming off.
That was the fire. He had given you a hat trick in a North London derby. Like he was hot.
He was hot.
All of a sudden,
the guy comes back.
Yeah.
Then you begin to bench him, and it's like the form of the guy is dipping.
Look, I'll give you an example why they are struggling to get a goal in this game. There were two possessions when they were building up, and I saw it play out in real time. Gabriel Jesus is the false nine who's supposed to attack through the middle.
Yeah.
He was on the
Far left.
and it was Leandro Trossard attacking through the middle. Do you want Leandro Trossard attacking through the middle when you do not have any big body forward in
Yeah.
there. That is the problem. He is not built to be playing in that position or occupying those spaces. Yes, it's fluid. The front three is fluid.
Yeah.
But Madueke is sticking out wide. And so it is those two that will be switching positions. But if you have Martinelli doing that, that is fine. If you have Gyökeres doing that, that is okay. But moving, Gabriel Jesus can play out on that left side, no problem at all. And Leandro Trossard can do that. But Leandro Trossard going through the middle, it's a bit of a challenge. And so you can see that he is not providing any bit of...
What? This boy for going inside, look at the ball. So.
Oh. Declan has a lot of technique.
So in that sense, you do not have a situation where there's an outlet. And so it's Kai Havertz that you have to rely on to come in there and occupy those spaces. And he got a header. He created a chance where his header went a bit off target. But the problem is that you are playing against a team that is applying a bit of playing deep, quite deep, or no, mid-block. They are deep, but they are not as deep as a team that is playing more or less haram football. So in that sense, timing is everything. Kai Havertz is not the fastest, so it takes a bit of time getting upfield. And so in that sense, if you are building up and you do not have a reliable target right when there's a chance opens up for you to swing in the cross and for him to connect to it, then you have to slow it down a little bit. The spaces get clogged. Then you have a situation where you have to either restart the possession or restart the attack, or you have to go with the mundane, floating, hopeful cross, but not necessarily you targeting someone in the middle of that box for him to be able to get his head to the ball. So for me, so far, that's what I've noticed with the Arsenal build-up, and that's why they are kind of struggling to get chances, especially when they aren't getting too many free kicks and corner kicks.
And talking about free kicks and corner kicks, Sunderland are very dangerous from dead ball situations themselves. They have very powerful centre backs. They've proven in past games that they can do damage with these type of situations. And so for us now, I think that they need to be extra wary of the threats that they are open. Look at the level of physicality being exercised in the game. Julian Timber is like literally asking himself what is going on in this game. So there's quite a lot happening. Meanwhile, Chelsea have just missed a big opportunity. Malo Gusto played in. All he had to do was try to cut the ball across, or probably cross the ball and try to be a little smart. I can understand him. Try to catch the goalkeeper off guard with that sand. That could have been 2-0 Chelsea.
It should have been, but he took the wrong option. I think if he had gone in front, even if Palmer doesn't score, the Wolves players would have considered a long goal. So he took the wrong option, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that situation you're in where you need to hit the ball hard and low across the face of goal. Any type of contact and the ball could end up in the back of the net. But clearly Gusto needs a few lessons on that. Kwachi wanted to make a point.
I mean, he hasn't scored a lot for Chelsea, so I'm surprised he took that option at that point. But yeah, Chelsea themselves, they look like they've been in control of the game, but then again, they're playing against Wolves, and I mean, I want to give them credit. Liam is playing really good football since he's been there. I mean, not really good football, but he's playing the effective football because he's winning games. They've had different kind of games. They had a comeback against West Ham, against Napoli to in the Champions League. And they've had games where they've been able to shut teams out. I think what they would want from this game is probably at least get a clean sheet as well. Try and back up
this Nigerian striker.
Orokodare. I was telling you about him. Look, I'm telling you that if Wolves were going to have a chance of winning this game, he doesn't have to be the guy leading the line. If this guy, you might as well come and get me to go and lead the line.
They sold Strand Larsen
another penalty
Palace, so
and things go from bad to worse for Wolverhampton Wanderers. The players are all over the referee. We need to see this. We need to see this incident again. So there we have another
That's a penalty.
That's a penalty.
And it's
and
that's a yellow. That's actually a yellow card on top of it.
And that's another stupid penalty. Roberto should turn in his resignation. He should resign right now because all the work that he's done.
Arguing that it's outside the
again,
box.
Joao Pedro.
Outside the box.
Is it outside the box?
Yeah.
I think it's on the line.
The contact began outside the box, but I think he was
He
pushed.
fell into the
I believe there will be a review of this.
Most definitely.
outside the box.
To be fair, I would back Palmer to probably score the free kick either way.
No. Where
is
It's in a difficult position, but
It's outside
is
the
this
box.
a penalty? Are they reviewing this?
It's outside the box.
Oh, come
The
on.
VAR
It's
should
on
look
the
at it.
it's on the line.
No.
I think this
The
is
contact began outside the box.
I think
but-
this is a reviewable decision. I'm not sure why they're not reviewing
They
this.
should review this.
Roberto should turn in his resignation.
But I
Because
think
he's
the
done a very
decision is
good
already.
job. You look at the way Wolves play.
Yeah.
In generally, he's done a very good
Cole
job.
Palmer has converted that penalty.
It's a penalty.
It
It happened on the line.
Yeah, he's converted that penalty. It's 2-0 Chelsea. He's gone in two different directions. So
At this rate, you'll get a hat trick.
2-0 advantage Chelsea. Cole Palmer not even bothering to fuss about
Of
celebrating
course,
that
because he
goal.
knows that this is a cove. They've given them away.
Those are two terrible mistakes or two very bad decisions by Wolverhampton Wanderers. Penalties that could have easily been avoided. Man.
Coaching is in.
I mean, I think the second one is much worse because of how blatant it is. I think the
And
first
on both
one.
occasions,
There
Pedro
was
was
no
going
danger.
away from goal.
There was no imminent danger.
Yeah. He panicked. I think he panicked. And he says, oh, let me just take one for the team.
Who bought this place?
I don't know if he
Who bought
looked.
this play? That was about the thing I was about to ask.
Actually, to be fair, I don't know how far it goes, but I think some of these are also still Lopetegui's players from the time when he was at Wolves.
But these players, most of the Wolf team, they have changed.
I mean, Victor
they've
Pereira
changed.
came there. Victor Pereira was there.
I mean, Pereira didn't last the full
He
season.
didn't last long enough
came-
to impact that level of change.
But, I mean, he
I'd
had
actually
the
give
off-season.
Gary O'Neill more credit.
Yeah, but he
Because-
he had an off season because he gets it. He had an off season and he brought in some more Portuguese players, and so
That's always been the strategy.
yeah, but he brought in more Portuguese players, and so yeah, you have to look at it from that end. But at the end of the day, like I said, if I'm Rob Edwards, I'm resigning. Look, this has nothing to do with my character. This has everything to do with the team that has been assembled for me to coach. Because, like I said, there's been a marked improvement in the way they play.
Yeah.
There's been an improvement, and that is down to coaching. But all the improvements will be undone by these kind of stupid decisions. And this one, it's not on the coach. It's not on the coach. And you can't keep preparing
Only to have your
all your
hard
game
work
plan
undone by
by
individual
these
errors.
things.
Yeah.
So it's not good for your health. I know coaching is not good for your health in the first place, and to have
But the money is good for their health. The money is good.
and to have to deal with this. Oh no. I'm like Rob Edwards. If I hear that he's resigned, I wouldn't be surprised at all because this is just a debacle.
I mean, he's a boyhood Wolves fan. I think he'd back himself to get them out of this challenge. The truth is, I'd asked. They brought in Stuart Armstrong. He's a very good championship level goal scorer. He scores some goals, but I don't know how effective he would be in the Premier League.
I think there's been another goal in that Chelsea game. I'll be giving you an update very quickly. Yes, Chelsea have indeed scored a third goal. I'll be confirming the goal scorer for you in a bit. Kukureya cut across. It's in the back of the net. It's a first half hat trick, and he has ice in his veins. Cole Palmer at it again. So in my good friends, it's Cole Palmer again and again and again. So it's 3 goals to the good for Chelsea. Chelsea are taking Wolves apart. From the way this is looking, this could get nasty very quickly. 3-0 already after 37 minutes. I'm sure
Wolves
score
broke
like
apart
5.
quite
Yeah,
quickly.
they should
Like
score
a
5.
ball quickly to Neto to the middle. He sent it out wide. They find Cucurella cut back.
Overlap.
Goal. Like
look at the hole. Look at how much space Palmer has to run into Ah, man, that is such terrible defending.
They should just get relegated and save everybody our stress. What sort of team is this?
Oh, man. Wolverhampton Wanderers not impressing anybody with how they are playing. Cole Palmer, remember, before this game had been a little off color.
Yeah, and there were some serious question marks.
A lot of question marks about his recent form. Well, he has used the bottom place team in the league to revive himself
and prop up his tally.
Yeah,
Any match referee,
shooting up the numbers.
Yeah, because Liam Rosinu in the lead up to this game was asked, okay, so there are some concerns about Cole Palmer and what is his best position? And he said his best position is on the pitch. Yeah, because he's that versatile and all he needs to do is to ensure that he plays.
We might have a little situation here with the Arsenal game.
He's given a yellow card.
Yellow card. Yellow card.
He's lucky he took his stats off very quickly.
Yeah.
A little more there, and Brobe would have been getting his marching orders in that game. That was dangerous play. Still goalless in that Arsenal game between Arsenal and Sunderland, and still Arsenal have barely sniffed a proper, well-worked goal-scoring chance.
They've not had one.
Wow.
Now they are pushing for the red card. You want man advantage.
I mean, it wasn't full-blown contact.
Yeah.
It was just the top. Then, yeah, like you said, he quickly
moved his foot before it could get any more dangerous.
Worse. Yeah.
So look at this Chelsea game, man.
Nah. Bro.
Pedro Neto is such a selfish player when his team is winning.
Palmer.
Man. I dislike players like this.
I mean, maybe former Wolves player, maybe he had vengeance on his mind. But just Wolves themselves,
no. Pedro Neto he likes doing these things. Like there's a break, you have two good options.
The time when he's running,
his
head is down. Pass the ball. It doesn't matter if we are 3 goals up. Pass the ball. And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel for Rob Edwards. And at how many games have been played now to have only one win under your tenure, and Pereira wasn't able to get a single win, so you have 1 win and 8 draws throughout the whole season, and that's their record.
And Arsenal have taken the lead against Sunderland. What a strike from Zubimendi! This was from outside the box, low driven shot, fantastic finish. Wow. Arsenal won. Yeah, that's a brilliant goal. Arsenal won. Sunderland 0. The Gunners have taken the lead.
What they needed to break down Sunderland.
Yeah, they were struggling to break down Sunderland from a chance creation point of view. Somebody had to take a shot from outside the box, and that shot from outside the box has ended up in the back of the net. A little help from the bar, I believe, or the post.
Yeah, the post.
Yep, clipped in off the post. Fantastic finish.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so Trossard laying the ball off. Zubimendi near post.
Sunderland, yeah, I mean
too much space.
I don't think close him down.
I don't think they were a little over confident. I don't think they thought he would be striking the ball from that distance, but looks like it caught everybody off guard. Before the goalkeeper could get there, ball in the back of the net. Yeah,
I think they were too focused on Trossard cutting in and delivering a cross or attempting a shot. And so by the time he rolled the ball over, I mean, they were quite slow on their feet. They weren't quick on their feet to be able to move over there quickly and just shut down the space and put in a block in there.
We have another chance. Arsenal to make it 2. Oh my goodness! Is that a penalty?
Offside.
Wow. The referee was going to give the
penalty.
Wow.
Just bundled him.
Wow, that's such a interesting sequence of play there.
So like I was saying, I mean Sunderland have done a very good job defensive wise. Yeah, he's definitely offside. He's offside. Once you cross the line, the center line.
He's off.
Yeah.
His other foot is off.
Yeah. That's close though.
So very close. No, I mean Sunderland, the defensive work that they've done so far.
On the part of a Brazilian international.
I mean, you saw.
You could have checked. Oh, you saw to check his run. What?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
Very poor.
Yeah. So for me, Sunderland should have done a better job of closing down the space. They didn't move over to that side quickly enough, and so that's what you get once you give a guy who is technically good, like Zubimendi, the time and the space on the ball to have a striker goal. So yeah,
Zubimendi scored quite a number of these type of goals this season.
Giving the penalty.
they are reviewing it
Wow.
to ensure that they made the right decision. Yeah, it's offside. It's
Okay,
offside.
so that decision being reviewed there.
Yeah, Gabriel Jesus was offside. Yeah,
So still
he
1-0.
should have been able to time it.
But that was poor on his part.
Yeah.
Oh no, man.
Didn't read the play.
Almost full body.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. His feet are onside, but it's his shoulder that marginally plays him off.
Yeah. So that's the situation here. Chelsea, meanwhile, looking like they want to make it 4 goals before the halftime break. They want to break Wolverhampton's spirits before they go into the locker room. Let me read a few messages coming in. Joe from Teshi says, should we appoint Carrick now? No. Let's wait until the end of the season. It's too early to make a decision. Paul from Bechile says, Ben, if United were wobbling by now, I'm very sure coach would be drinking chloroquine laced with lemon. How things can change fast. And coach should be slurring on us.
You think you get me to be sleeping and then going through pain all the time? It's time for me to jubilate.
Jibril Lampard from Ashaiman says, good afternoon to you all. I know very well that coach isn't happy about Chelsea's results, but he has no option.
Right now, Man United is ahead of Chelsea.
Oh, Charlie.
So where is my worry? I'm not worried. You are playing catch up.
No stress.
Next week you are playing. When are they going to Arsenal again? Another lose. You sit there, don't be thinking
I
about
think
your team,
it's on the horizon somewhere.
and be thinking about coach's team.
Timotino from Esuchare says, good afternoon, guys. Today, the Fugu 11, Man United, has won 4 games in a row with a former coach, but still, they say they need a coach who will come and break their records. They are certain, to be honest. Tottenham should go for Enzo Maresca. Chelsea to win 4-1 against Wolves. Okay. Kweku from Sapeman, and a neighbor to Kweku Bonsam. I'm not sure I needed all that detail. He says, Man United, we inside sweets like that. Osei United. I never loved the idea of changing Amorim, but I have been proven wrong. I have no reason not to dance with the winning sales. Osei United, okay? So you were not too sure, but now you are on board. Alogoligi from Oyibi. Hey, Charlie, this is your name. So even as an Arsenal fan, I'm not surprised United is playing well all of a sudden. They had the men to execute the job they are now doing. Amorim was simply holding them back. Okay. Arsenal, meanwhile, looked like they wanted to add, or were going to add, a second goal before the break. Kai Havertz missing narrowly from a drive and a shot from deep. Just about time added on in that one. Let me give you an update that's coming through from Spain. Barcelona up against Mallorca. 29 minutes played in that game. Barca have scored in that game. Robert Lewandowski giving Barca the lead. Kwacha, just thoughts on Barca and their own action going on there in the Spanish La Liga. Quick thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, Barca have been on a really good run. They started the season a little shaky when Madrid initially looked like they were going to run away with things, and Javi was the he looked like he was going to have a good run at Madrid, but things changed quickly after the Clásico, which is surprising, because after the Clásico you'd have probably thought that Real Madrid were the team were going to go on a run. Barca have been able to steady themselves. I think this is they're on a 5-game winning run in all competitions, 4 in the league, and I think that Flick, at least since he's been in charge of Barcelona, I think he's brought a lot of steadiness. Javi did really well to win a league title. I won't lie, I did not back him that heavily when he was a manager there. But for Flick to come in and win the league in his first season, and even in the Champions League, I think if you remember, they just missed out narrowly when losing that semi-final second leg to Inter Milan and missing out on the final. I think that's the match last season I wanted to see, when PSG were in form and Barca were playing as well as they did. So I don't know if this season they can be able to take advantage of that. On Lewandowski, he's a very old man now, 38, 39, but he's still physically, he looks like he's still in his.
Bro, it worries Saliba.
Broba is extremely athletic.
Strong guy.
Very, very grounded, quick, athletic. And I don't know if you ever seen him take his shirt off before. He's strong.
What?
He's
packed.
He's like a junior Adama Traore.
He's really.
Yeah.
See, Saliba.
You should allow your team to buy him.
No.
No, what? No. You are just giving him a lot of praise a few seconds ago. Ten Hag wanted to get him for you. You know, it would be a good addition as a backup striker.
I mean, he just bullied Saliba into conceding a corner kick.
And Saliba is a very strong player as well.
Yeah.
Physically, height-wise. To be given that level of what I would call... Yeah.
I mean, I think he's offside if it's going
No. They are pulling somebody. Look.
He literally he almost took his shirt off.
Look.
Come
It's
on.
a clear penalty.
Come on.
English referees won't look at it.
Nope.
This one, you need
they won't even
you
read
need
it.
They
John
want to
Jackson
their
Dalla to officiate this game.
They
They
won't even
officiated the Morocco-Senegal game. Yeah,
They would have
they would have
definitely
given this
given
one
that.
as a penalty.
So it's half time in the Arsenal game. Chelsea are playing 5 minutes of time added on, so it'll be half time in that game also in a bit. In the Bundesliga, there's a Wolfsburg-Dortmund game happening. 60 minutes played. It's 1-1 in that game so far. So that's the update from now. Let's take a quick break here on the Republic of Football. When we come back, we'll get into halftime talk of the games that are currently happening. We'll also take a detour, talk about some other games happening in other leagues, a few individual performances, leaderboards and whatnot. So stay with us here on the show. We'll be right back. around the Republic of Football, right here on 97.3 City FM. We're also live on Channel 1 TV. On YouTube, we are on City Sports GH. On Twitter, you can find us on the official handle of 97.3 City FM. Big shout outs to my YouTube people: Sweet Kwame, Kobina Amoa, Eddie O, Caleb 534. The poll is still up on YouTube. 4 wins in a row. Should Michael Carrick get the United job full time? We have 186 votes. 72% of you think that he deserves it. 28% believe that no, United should hire a more experienced manager. Meanwhile, it's half time in the 3 p.m. batch of matches that have been played in the Premier League. Manuel Kwache, the studio coach, namely Yao Jemita, have been around. They'll be joining us in a bit. Let me talk to Manuel in the meantime. So, Arsenal, let's start off on that block. Leading by 1-0. Individual brilliance from Martin Zubimendi in a game where Arsenal have struggled to break down Sunderland. I'll give you a few more numbers and statistics to provide some context, but your impressions on that first half?
Yeah, I mean, it was a half where Arsenal themselves didn't really look like they were going to score. If you look at the challenge that was presented to them by Sunderland, but like you said, during title-winning seasons, these are the games, these are the moments that matter. If you are going down, and like I said, what I didn't want for them is to get into the second half, and then there's a lot of pressure on them, and then they start thinking that, are we going to drop points, and what is City win? So at least getting the go-ahead gives them it's able to calm them down. It depends on how they approach the game in the second half too, because I wouldn't back against Sunderland to come inside and get a goal as well. So I think that if they want to get the win, they need to at least come into the second half with the little energy, the little different creativity. I don't know if Gyökeres can be brought on as a different option in the sense.
You know Arteta, he has scored 1 goal. I don't think he's about to open up this game.
I mean, not necessarily.
We're very unlike him.
But I think if they leave it up to Sunderland and think that the Sunderland won't get back in the game, I'd back Sunderland to at least test them a bit. So, and he has a lot of good options on the bench. So I think just to change it up a bit, maybe he can bring on maybe Eze and Gyökeres and just see how maybe a different combination can work for the team.
Let me give you a few numbers from that first half. So talk about possession. 47.6 for Arsenal, 52.4 for Sunderland, the away side. XG is where it gets a little more interesting. 0.31 XG for Arsenal to Sunderland's 0.11. So Arsenal have definitely been more active in and around dangerous areas for their opponents. Total shots 9 for Arsenal, 2 on target, 3 for Sunderland, also 2 on target. 3 corners to Arsenal, 2 for Sunderland. So you can talk about attacks and talk about shots inside the box. 1 for Arsenal, 2 for Sunderland. And you could talk about shots outside the box. Arsenal have taken 4 shots from outside the box, and one of those ended up in the back of the net. Those are a few of the numbers to chew on from that opening 45 minutes of action. When you go to the part of Sunderland Football Club, I don't know. Are you worried about their ability to finish? They've had a few glimpses, nothing really concrete. But are you convinced that they can take the opportunity if it falls to them? Because in as much as their season has been decent, they've gotten a lot of goals from all over the pitch, not necessarily the men who are leading the line.
I mean, I don't think finishing will be the problem. I trust Broby. I think it's maybe just making sure they get more clear-cut chances, if that makes sense. So making the chances that the attacker then goes on to miss more difficult for him. But I think it's just a reflection, like I keep saying, of the away form. If I look at the away table, they are 17th on the away table. If of the Premier League this season, which is quite surprising given how well they've done. But if you look at the home table, they are fourth.
So it means they do a lot of their work at home.
Yeah, only 2 wins on the road all season with 4 draws and 7 defeats. So that should tell you about the approach that they have when they are at their stadium. And obviously, like you said, I understand it because of the fans in their stadium. A bit like Leeds too. I think Leeds have also been able to turn Elland Road into, into a hard place to go to. But for Sunderland, I think at some point you need to just accept where you are, but then if you look at what your ambitions were at the start of the season, you wanted to at least guarantee that you maintain your stay in the Premier League, that your safety is guaranteed. Looking at the table right now, they are a top half team at the moment. None of the other promoted teams can say that. So as much as these defeats are disappointing and maybe you can go into each game thinking, can I win it? I think at some point, these managers, for the managers who are good at coming from the Championship, what they have now is they have a season management. And if I remember, I think Sir Alex Ferguson had a very similar thing. So his principle, at least when he was playing against the big teams, is if Arsenal went here or if Chelsea went here, you have to win here. Basically, you have to match their results and pick up all the other points elsewhere. And I think that, if you look at Sunderland right now, they look at the results that they've been able to get against Chelsea, against Liverpool, against all these top teams. They have been able to get enough points from those games that they probably wouldn't have thought that they would have been able to get results from. So they can go into games like this, and it's not necessarily that it's a free hit, but we've already calculated where our points will come from and what we can do. Whether they can be a team that pushes for Europe, I think that's a bit too soon, and that could stretch them out a bit. If immediately they come into the Premier League, the next season they're in Europe, and that means now they need to adjust their squad. The squad that's gone from playing the Championship now has the Champions League or even Conference League quality, and I think that can be gradual for them. So right now that they've come into the league, I think they can take their positives when they can build on their good results, and I think they've done enough in the season so far to ensure that games like this can be a free hit and they can approach it more expansively. So in the second half, I'd probably expect Sunderland to be the team that is more expansive, simply because they have less to lose in this regard against Arsenal. Arsenal are dealing with having the pressure of being title contenders, but Sunderland themselves are just a promoted team who are going to play at one of the big stadiums that they haven't played in a long time. And obviously it feels normal now, but Sunderland haven't always had it easy. Like 2-3 seasons ago, I'd say 3 seasons ago, they're in League One. Like they got relegated from the Championship to League One, and it wasn't easy for them. They even had they lost in the playoff final when they were in League One before finally making it back to the Championship.
They've really gone through it.
Before finally making the Championship and come back to the Premier League. So as much as it feels like they are back now and they are settled in, the way the Premier League is, it only takes a season. Wolves were that less than 2-3 seasons ago. When they came out under Nuno Espirito Santo, they were that expansive team with Ruben Neves and João Moutinho, and they had all these exciting players, and they even got into Europe. But if you look at Wolves now, you'd be surprised. So it doesn't take a long time for these things to go south. I made the same point about Leicester City. To go from nearly being in the Champions League and winning the FA Cup to being relegated. Like, you can't take these things for granted. So I think they need to focus on building the squad. Obviously, it's nice to achieve these things, but if they don't come at the right time, I think they can derail their squad. Certain players have to leave. Now you don't have the same financial muscle, and it can quickly lead to maybe relegation or failing to reach your objectives for the season. So for Sunderland, like I said, I think they should be happy with what they've achieved. Some of their standout players like Mukiele and Ballard, they can but use the season as experience in the Premier League and bank on that. And then it depends. Also interesting to see how they recruit over the summer as well. If they go with the same model of trying to get as much talent and keeping it in, or now that they have these players, they just back them out and they use the Premier League money to maybe go and find like 1 or 2 standout players. Maybe go and get maybe Bakola is too extreme, but you get what I mean. Go and get that marquee signing that you can build the club towards bigger things.
Well, so the second half has kicked off for Arsenal and Sunderland. I believe that Chelsea's game is about to kick off also pretty soon. Sunderland, I believe, will have, or they've started the game with a little more urgency. Let's talk about Fulham Everton. Fulham leading Everton by 1-0. Own goal scored by Mikolenko in that one. Fulham not having a stellar season, not having a bad season either. just about in the middle of the pack, really. Quick thoughts on that game. Can Everton get a reaction out of that one?
Yeah, I would think so. But Fulham themselves have picked up just a little bit. Obviously, like you said, the season has been quite here and there. It's not very consistent. But I think the turn up in form has been quite recent. They went on about an 8-game unbeaten run on the Marco Silva from December to the new year. I think it's only to defeat a Leeds somewhere in January that meant that they were unable to continue that run. But they had a lot of good players who were coming into form. I think Harry Wilson has been nominated for Player of the Month for 2 months in a row, and the month before that he won Goal of the Month. He in particular has been quite impressive. The problem with Wilson is that, as good as his form has been, he's running out of contract in the summer, and means that a lot of Premier League clubs have been scoping around him, looking whether he will be interested in moving there. I always thought he was somebody who could have made it at Liverpool initially when he came out as a young talent. He's always had that technique, and you see it even when he's playing for the Wales national team. Like, he has very good delivery, very good technique when he's playing from a set piece, and he has a lot of he has a lot of power as well. So he's able to strike from distance, and having a player that's unpredictable and is always going to be quite helpful for the team. They lost last week to Man United, but one of the better players was Kevin. And he was supposed to be their standout signing this summer. When he came in for, I think it was from Shakhtar, Brazilian boy. He has been impressive. He has been impressive for me as well. Marco Silva has proven that he's a solid manager. When he came into the league initially and the whole city, there was a lot of.
He's been around for quite a while. This was his third Premier League team.
I think he was with Hull, and he went to Everton after that. That didn't quite work out, and then he ended up at Fulham. But he's also one of those managers that you look at and think, well, he wants to maybe try and move on to the next level and see if there's more he can do beyond Fulham. I don't know if Fulham can push towards Europe. They are 7th right now in the table.
Yeah.
If they're able to maintain these results, they could definitely start thinking about maybe making a push for Europe this season. Who knows if it's possible? But yeah, just think that he's been able to get this team playing really solidly and get a lot of cohesion out of them. I'm also pleased with the form of Raul Jimenez. When he was at Wolves and he got the head injury, I wasn't ever sure if we'd able.
Yeah, I thought he was finished, honestly. To have discovered this new vein of form, decent.
Yeah, because there was a way he was playing after. There was a little bit of a timidity, which is completely understandable given the nature of injury that he went through. I mean, I think Ryan Mason has suffered a similar injury when he was playing, and he had to retire instantly. So the fact that he was able to continue, come back and play, and be able to impact this team at this level is credit to him. Even during the summer, I think he played a crucial role in Mexico winning the Gold Cup. Yeah. So he's close to rediscovering his best form. Obviously, the revolutionary it will be when he plays in midfield. He has also been impressive, even from the AFCON up to now. I think that partnership with Sander Berge, it's a bit like when you have two good midfielders, it allows him to play with a bit more freedom. You see the similar thing with Arsenal when it to be Mendy plays with Rice. Rice is able to make more box-to-box runs, and it also gives a chance for Emil Smith-Rowe to have a role in the middle of the team, like playing as the 10 in the team. I will be honest, has been a little disappointing when he came from Arsenal.
Yeah,
when he came from Arsenal, he had a lot of talent, a lot of credibility. But just on that, I think I've started to notice that a lot now. Sometimes these players look really good, and you see it with Man City too. Because they've now sold Oscar Bob to Fulham, I think for getting close to 30-40 million, and on the back of what they did with McAtee at Nottingham Forest. Obviously, I think McAtee can become a good player, but if you look at what he's been able to prove at Forest so far, the only times I would say City have really not benefited from moving these youngsters on is probably when you see Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer. But because they have looked like they have turned out to be world beaters. But a lot of these young players, I think they gain a lot of value just by being in the first team of these big teams. So even if they are not at a level, you can move them on based on their promise. And then sometimes they end up not delivering. That's what happened with Smith-Rowe. I don't know if it'll be the same with Oscar Bob. He's also come out with a lot of hype from Manchester City. So we'll see whether he can deliver for them.
Well, that's the word on those. More updates. West Ham United up by 2-0 in their own game. Like I mentioned, that's a good one for them. So Somerville and Castellanos getting the goals for West Ham United. 51 minutes played in that game. Nuno struggling a little, but this is a game where they are determined to win. Thoughts on this one? They are up 2-0.
Yeah, this was my problem with Wolves. With West Ham coming into this good run of form that they've been on, they've had 2 games against Wolves and Nottingham Forest that they failed to win. And I thought that if you're in a relegation battle, these are definitely the games you should be winning. So now that they're up against Burnley, the team that they are direct competitor, the team that are directly below them, you can't afford to lose, because that means you are directly losing ground on the team that's above you. That's if they win, and you are giving ground to the team that's behind you to get closer to you. So this is definitely a game I would have expected them to win. Burnley themselves have been atrocious, very, very bad. I don't think Scott Parker's reputation has been embellished at all since he's been back. They haven't. I mean, looking at the Premier League, the last game they won was all the way back in October, and it was against Wolves, which is,
come on, man.
Everybody beat Wolves. So
last week was against the bottom place team in the league.
To be fair to them, they won back-to-back games against Leeds and Wolves. But that's when Leeds were in the relegation zone and Wolves were bottom of the table. And you had to go a whole Premier League season without being able to, with only wins against Sunderland, Wolves, Wolves and Leeds. That's the 3. Obviously, Sunderland have been very impressive this season. But I think last season, coming from the EFL, they had an unbeaten record. They drew both games against Sunderland in the Championship. So clearly they have a strategy when they play against Reduce the Breeze, Sunderland. But to have gone nearly 15, 16 games without a win. Obviously they got a win in the FA Cup, but that was against second Millwall, who are in the Championship, I think. Yeah. So, but to go in the Premier League, to go nearly 4 months without a single victory, I think just like Wolves, I think they are consigning themselves immediately to relegation. Because if you look at them right now on the table, they have 15 points, and Nottingham Forest have 26. That's 11 points from safety. Mathematically, that's if you want to be. That's about 4 wins. You need 4 wins for yourself, and the other team don't pick up any points. You yourself, they themselves, I don't back them to go on a 4-game winning run. After failing to win a game, for nearly 4 months, I don't back them to all of a sudden just pick up form and then just start winning games consecutively. Which means they need to be hoping that other teams drop points, and that won't happen. So in this game, obviously, they should feel really disappointed, because this is a game that they should be winning, if that makes sense, because you're playing against the team that's directly above you. So this is how you, if at least in terms of the Premier League structure, this is the team that you're as closest at in terms of quality that you've produced throughout the season. And if you're not able to pick up a win against them, I think that just shows that they might not be able to find their way out of this relegation hurdle that they've got themselves into. It looks like they would be the only promoted team that's going back down. So at least that's a positive if you look at the Premier League over the last 3
recent
seasons.
Recent
trajectory where all the teams who have come up have gone down. And to be fair, I kept hearing people saying that they were actually better than Wolves. Like, if you look at them and the performances that they've put up over the season, I've heard people say that actually, so I meant that they're actually worse than Wolves. Does that make sense? Because I think Wolves have actually been not unlucky, but I think they've been impressive in certain games, and they have a solid structure. They just, like I said, like we've seen today, sometimes they have players who make strange decisions in strange moments. But in terms of attacking play, in terms of cohesiveness of how they approach the game, I'll tell you that Wolves have actually been slightly better than Burnley. Burnley have seen themselves as a team where their constant strategy has been to, a bit like when they were in the Championship, where they only considered 15 goals when they got promoted. That would look impressive, but coming into the Premier League, it means it looks like they've just sat back a lot and expected teams to break them down. And unfortunately for them, the level of quality in the Premier League is entirely different from the level of quality in the Championship. So it means that if you give teams like Man City and Bournemouth and Newcastle and Fulham and Brentford the opportunity and say come and break us down, some of these teams actually can't come and break you down. But if you look at the Premier League, the influx of money has meant that teams like Bournemouth and Fulham, they're able to attract players who would probably previously have been playing for. Like Sarabia came from PSG to Wolves. If that makes sense. Like the level of quality, the level of money they have
Yep.
means they can spend 60 million on a player, and it means that the quality, even at the bottom of the league, is increased.
Well, do we have a goal?
Yeah, Wolves have scored.
Wolves have gotten one goal back, and guess who?
Yes, I told you.
Oh, tap in.
He's-
Orokodari. Tolu Orokodari. He's doing the sign of the cross 3 times because he is scoring a goal in the next 4 months. Anyway, look at that goal again. So, from a corner kick, headed in right place at the
Has to
right
just
time.
Turn around and
That's not a
Yeah,
bad
that's
finish,
what
you know. Not a bad finish at all. Ball was headed on, trapped it well first time,
And, yeah.
managed to finish. So
Quite.
Rokodari gets his flowers for that one. Decent goal. Quick thoughts on that.
yeah, I mean that's what you need from your centre forward when you are chasing a game. Whether they can go on and get results in the game, I'd be surprised. But just for him personally, I mean, I think he came for about 30 million.
Plenty money.
Yeah, like there's a lot of money being
A
spent.
30
on,
million player at all.
So it goes back to the point I was making about Premier League teams and the money they have and how
Look
they can
at
afford to
struggling
spend.
Wolves able to spend 30 million on a player.
And I mean they made a lot of bank from the Strand Larsen selling. I'm surprised they sold him and kept Orokodare, but they know what they are doing. Maybe they fear that if they are getting relegated, they need to start cashing in on players.
Well, there's an update in the AFC Bournemouth Aston Villa game. AFC Bournemouth have equalized in that game. So it's 1-1 in that particular encounter. Yes, so you have Ryan getting the equalizer. Aston Villa have to dig a little deeper if they do want to win this game. Yeah, quick thoughts on the games we are watching. Arsenal still leading by a goal to nil, still not creating enough opportunities. Chelsea have had their dominance dented just slightly. Can we get an interesting game out of that?
Yeah. They will make a fight out of it. I mean, Wolves. That's one thing that you can be assured from Rob Edwards' side. I still believe Chelsea will win this game, but I don't think Liam Rossini will be very happy. Though they'll win the game, I don't think he'll be very happy because they've conceded a goal, and in the sense that looking at the way they scored their goals in the first half. You get the first half hat-trick from Cole Palmer. You know that you are well on your way to a big win in terms of the margin. Yeah. And the last thing you would want is to concede a goal that messes up your clean sheet. It means something. This is not a close game where any results that will come in the form of a win will do. This is a game where you've dominated for long spells. You have the better quality players. And you are expected to win, and you are winning because you were given a hand with the silly fouls that Wolves conceded. And so, in that respect, yes, you should win and win handsomely without conceding a goal. So already, I can see Liam Rossini, taking it as just another win and not a situation where he marks it as one of those games that would be counted as an area of improvement, more or less, because once you've conceded against Wolves from such a position, there's no way you can call it an excellent performance. Even if they end up scoring, let's say 2 more goals, no, there's no way you can call it an excellent performance. Maybe a very good performance, but an excellent performance would have been a clean sheet. Then you look at the Arsenal game. I think for some strange reason, Arsenal, particularly with their forwards, they aren't stepping up in terms of the physicality. I mean, it makes it they make it look like they are playing the Champions League.
They are cute. They never ever are physical in any game.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. But I have an issue with that in the sense that you have players who along the front three who have played in the league for at least 3 seasons, so they know what is expected of them, or what is expected from opposing teams. That they'll be very physical, and they've lost out on multiple possessions because they got bullied.
Yep.
And for me, that is a bit surprising because you know what you're up to when you're playing against these EPL teams. This is not the Champions League. You're playing in the EPL. And I expected them to be a bit more physical in their front line. And they haven't been able to do so. And so I'm hoping that now that the changes have been made,
Gyökeres is in.
Yeah,
Definitely brings that physicality up front for
he's
them.
been introduced. Martinelli has also been introduced. So yeah, hopefully that changes. But if it doesn't, then that will be quite a bit of a worrying trend. And maybe that could be a situation where Arteta and his guys will have to work on during their training sessions. But so far it's not been pretty for us now. But at least typical of them throughout this entire season, they are getting the job done. So no cause for alarm yet, but they do need that second goal to act as a security measure.
Arsenal needing that second goal to cushion them in that one. Let me see if I can go around Europe a bit and give you an update from the other leagues happening. I'll also be reading a few of your messages that have come through in a bit. So in the Premier League, when you do a sweep around the Premier League, yesterday is when the game week started. Leeds United beat Forest by 3-1. Earlier today, Man United beats a 10-man Spurs by 2-0. Arsenal currently leading 1-0 against Sunderland. It's 60 minutes played in that game. Martin Zubimendi with a wonderful strike from outside the box to give Arsenal the lead in this one. At the other grounds going on, you have AFC Bournemouth, Aston Villa. It's 1-1 between the two teams. Villa held the lead in the first half, let Bournemouth in the second. In the game between Burnley and West Ham at Turf Moor, the West Ham are leading by 2-0. It looks like it would be a rare away win for West Ham United. Fulham taking care of business at Craven Cottage. It's 1-0 against Everton, 65 minutes played. And then you have Wolves and Chelsea at the Molineux, 61 minutes played in that game as well. 3-1 advantage Chelsea. There's a Newcastle Brentford game to come at 5:30. We'll see if we can get into a little bit of that before we do eventually leave the studios. When I'll get to some of the other leagues in a bit, but which of the results so far has been shocking in the Premier League for you guys today? Yeah, let me start with you, then I'll come to Kwache. Which one has been shocking?
So far none. So far none, because you look at the West Ham Burnley game. For me, Burnley, they and Wolves they are relegated. So it's that third team that we are looking out to see who it will be. And for West Ham, in order to avoid being that third team, you need to beat. They needed to beat Burnley, and they've done that. And that's a marker of a team, or one of the major markers of a team that looks likely to stay in the Premier League. It's not about you losing to Chelsea. It's not about you losing to Man City or Arsenal. It's about the kind of results that you get when you're competing against your contemporaries, more or less contemporaries. And Burnley, West Ham, Nottingham Forest, Leeds United, they are contemporaries when it comes to the scrap to avoid getting relegated. And so for West Ham to be able to beat Burnley, I'm not surprised. And what that tells me is that, yes, indeed, West Ham are looking to avoid getting relegated by doing what is needed at this point in time. Beat the teams that you should beat or you can beat, and win the games that you are supposed to win, or you have a sizable advantage or solid advantage of winning or chances of winning. And in that sense, I'm cool with it. Then you have it's the same thing with Fulham. They took care of business at home. They bagged a win. So so far no surprises for me. So far
no surprises. Kwache?
Not particularly for me. I think I would have probably expected Arsenal, the fact that they are playing at home, the fact that Sunderland don't do that well. I probably would have expected a more dominant scoreline. But beyond that, I don't find any of the results surprising. I'd say some were actually quite predictable, especially if you look at the Chelsea Wolves game. Mm-hmm. Maybe the nature of the goals not necessarily, but you'd probably expected Chelsea to have a heavy advantage over Wolves. And I think Fulham Everton, like I said, Fulham have picked up form at the right time, right time of the season, and they have key players who are also performing quite well in different moments. So Yeah, so far everything has gone according to schedule. Maybe United Spurs. Obviously, based on how the last few weeks had gone.
Cool.
Victor
So we
Gyökeres.
look like we have a second goal in that Arsenal game, and Gyökeres has scored. Struggling Gyökeres. He looks so relieved. It's 2-0 to the Arsenal. Let's see the replay in this one.
I think stubbornness is a trait of all elite managers, and for that, congratulations, Arteta. You've shown that you're stubborn because this was as clear as day. Like playing in this game, it was as clear as day that you needed that big body forward up front.
So Everton.
Yeah, I mean,
Failing-
Sunderland gifting. Sorry.
Yeah, Sunderland. Sorry, the blue and white had me confused for a bit.
Sunderland throwing away possession.
Yep.
Havertz
Trying to play out of the back. That's.
I mean, he has the most unconventional finishes.
I was
If you
about
ask
to
me,
say.
Gyökeres. There's a lot of his goals where he's either struggling to reach it or slipping,
struggling to
or
stay on his feet.
It hits a part of his body and goes in, but he still manages to.
I mean, it
To
wasn't
find the
the
back of
cleanest
the
of
net.
first touches, so the ball was kind of
In
running
fact,
away
that's
from him.
that is his biggest deficiency as a striker that I've noticed. His first touch is not bad,
It's not
but it's
smooth
very
either.
sketchy. Like it's
not
very
smooth.
touch and go, can be a hit, can be a miss every now, and sometimes it tends to be a miss when he needs it to be a hit the most. Like in a very advantageous situation, you think that a good first touch clears him for, a good finish, and then he just touches the ball into the opponent's path, and all of a sudden the chance is gone. Anyway, Eze is on the pitch as well. Now I'm not sure who he's replacing.
He's replaced Kai Havertz.
Kai Havertz also. Havertz has gone off. Eze on the pitch. Arsenal up by 2-0 and adding more firepower. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought Havertz's best position would have been as a second striker. When in that sort of he plays, he's a big man who's a much smaller player would be playing off. I think it worked a bit like that for him when he was still at Leverkusen. But in this Arsenal, it looks like he's had to become very versatile, and I don't know if that affects him because I feel like I haven't been able to see the best
He's
out
not
of
fast
him.
enough. He's not fast enough and strong enough to deal with Premier League centre forwards, centre backs. Because I remember he granted an interview I found funny till today. I think it was after his first game for Chelsea, before he even made the jump to Arsenal. He was asked about how he feels about defenders in the Premier League and defenders in the Bundesliga. He says that he was surprised at how fast centre backs in the Premier League are as compared to centre backs in the Bundesliga. And he was also a little shocked by the size of the centre backs and how quickly they can move. So those, I think, from those statements alone, sounded like he was in a bit of a culture shock or a league shock with regards to the strength and the ability levels of his opponents.
Yeah, because for instance, you look at the German league. I mean, they had, if you have, for instance, Bayern Munich, for instance, you have Jonathan Tah. He's big.
Yeah.
He's good, but he's not fast.
Yep.
But you consistently find teams in the Bundesliga playing high line. So in that sense, when the ball breaks, your chances of getting the goal on the counter
Really high.
are really high. But Premier League, if the ball breaks, I mean, Prime Van Dijk can catch up to you. The least we said about Van de Ven, I mean, the better. Because he's as fast as pretty much any centre forward.
Any player out there. Yeah.
You get it. Then now you're seeing Saliba, these guys.
Very decent pace.
Yeah, solid pace. So in that sense, they can catch up to you. So just that instance, just that alone, more or less diminishes your chances of scoring some goals in the Premier League. That's why in the Bundesliga, it's easy to score 20 goals compared to the Premier League because out of those 20 goals, you get about 6 or 7 that are, you just outpacing the defender and slotting the ball in the back of the net. Especially when the goalkeeper also advances high from his line, it makes it a bit easy to just plant the ball either by going around him or because there's enough space behind, you can be able to angle yourself and kill the ball into the back of the net. So these things, they do matter. They really do matter.
Well, Sweet Kwame says that Sunderland are missing Shaka in the middle of the park. And Xhaka would have been really up for this game because it's against his former team as well. But I don't think that's an excuse. Arsenal will not be interested in that excuse. They have gotten their 2 goals, and I'm sure they'll be looking to make it an even more dominant scoreline when it's all said and done.
Oh, but why did the referee stop play? Because it's not like it was a head injury. And Wolves had they were building up possession.
I mean, he held his face, to be fair to the referee. So, I mean, he
went down as well.
Yeah, he's
so,
that.
But you see, that's the thing. The referee was watching the whole thing. So I don't know why he whistled.
Football lesson.
He gets my point. I don't know why he whistled. Because if he wasn't watching, like it was on his blind side, fine. But he was watching the whole time. It was a corner kick. So why did he whistle? Because it's not a situation where maybe it was an elbow to the head or an elbow to the face. They were just jostling for position.
Chelsea have some of the most annoying fullbacks in the game. Marco Correa and then Malo Gusto.
No, I get what you're saying, but
and look at that sequence.
You see,
I think Tolu's blocking him slightly.
See,
so at that point,
but
when
is
he
it
goes down
enough?
holding his face, no, but he saw a player going down holding his face after being blocked.
That's why I say that he was looking at it the whole time because
Now,
it was a
he
corner
says
kick that he
bleeding.
was looking at it the whole time. If it was on the referee's blind side,
Oh no, but there are also different players. Like obviously,
I
we're
get
zoned in now, but he was probably keeping an eye on
It's
all the
really
action.
it's
right
actually really raining in that game. Actually,
Oh, yeah.
The fans have had to pull out their raincoats. Some are using umbrellas for the game. I really wonder how footballers like stay in their zone. I mean, you are running, so probably your body's hot.
You
but,
feel hot, yeah.
it's
I
coming.
mean, we see Lukaku in
Yeah.
the cold with the steam coming out of his hair. Yeah, because he's hot and it's cold. But at the end of the day, the heat that comes from running, it's more than enough to keep him warm.
Well, that's the.
It's just the
wor-
goalkeepers that I pity.
worry about, because
Yeah.
you're idle most of the time. You're
Yeah.
not doing much. I mean, you can get a cup of coffee on the side. Just take a sip. If your team is dominating possession, you can always call for a cup of coffee on the side. We have an update for you from Craven Cottage, and Everton have equalized in that game against Fulham. Kenan Dewsbury Hall, or KDH, as they call him. He
The one and only.
has gotten the equalizer. Let me take thoughts on that one. Fulham, that's what a time to concede an equalizer. Really, not great at all. 1-1. It's almost 78 minutes played in that game. The clock is ticking. Thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah. I mean, Marco Silva won't be happy with that at all, and that has pretty much been the bane of Fulham because they have been in very solid positions throughout the entire campaign, and they are either losing or they are drawing, and a draw is not a loss, but at the end of the day, it's 2 drop points, and if you're
Especially in
Fulham,
the game you've led this long.
it's 2 points lost, and Fulham have had too many of those instances, and that's the reason why they aren't ranked as high as they should.
Oh, Berechi is nearly getting a third for Arsenal. The movement, this guy, man. Look at how he starts this play. Makes the move, runs into space, and takes the shot with his left. He almost gave Arsenal a third goal in that sequence there, but was not to be. So ball just driven a little wide. Sunderland, some way, somehow, are still pressuring Arsenal high up the pitch. I don't know if it's because of how the first leg ended and how they got a dramatic late equalizer. They sort of seem to think that if they can get something early here, they can make the final minutes a little nervy for Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Sunderland, you just think about it this way. You look at it holistically. Okay, so we consider space and time to Zubimendi, and he delivered a brilliant strike. That got the first goal. And the second one, just a poor clearance, and Gyökeres got a chance and he planted the ball into the net. So take out those 2 situations, and we have been in this game throughout the entire period. So why should our heads drop, knowing very well that just one goal changes the entire complexion of the game, and Arsenal will start feeling a bit jittery, very likely, looking at the way their fans easily get on the players. And so you always want to fancy your chances if you are Arsenal, if you are Sunderland competing the way they have competed so far against Arsenal.
Arsenal Football Club in the mix there.
It's only
trying
after
to get a third goal.
It's only after a third goal that I know that
then you can rest.
Yeah, that's the knockout punch.
Well, Chelsea making a change, I believe. Joao Pedro today has contributed penalties to his team. Was fouled in dangerous areas. He's coming off, I believe. I'll confirm for you who is replacing Joao Pedro on that pitch, but he's taking his time. I believe Malo Gusto might also be coming off. Yes, so Joao Pedro, Malo Gusto, both off. We have Delap and a Champon. Josh a Champon, England's finest.
I mean, Gusto actually looks quite mad. You can see the scar on his face.
Yeah. He looks really shaken up by that earlier incident. I don't know if they've...
I mean, that...
Yeah, you know, there's a thing the American NBA players say about the French NBA players. I'm just not going to get on it.
Actually, they do it to all European players. I mean, they do it to all European players.
They call them soft.
They call them soft.
Americans are interesting people. Very interesting. I saw somebody tell Evan Fournier to stop being or try to stop acting like the tough guy in the game. I found it so funny.
There's always that perception about them. I mean,
and the irony is that it was CJ McCollum. Yeah. CJ McCollum telling Evan Fournier to stop being a soft.
And the thing is, I mean, you look at for instance, the Chicago Bulls back in the day.
Yeah.
When the European player they brought in, I've forgotten his name.
Who's that? Kukoc?
Kukoc came in. Jordan in his documentary said that he and Scottie Pippen deliberately went at him. Yeah. Like they were always going at him because they just wanted to test how tough he was.
Yeah.
But
depending on where the person is coming from, they're pretty tough. If they're coming from Eastern Europe.
And the thing is, it's funny because why are you testing these guys who are playing in front of 10,000, 8,000, 7,000 passionate fans who are smoking in the arenas?
Yep.
They are clogging
they are
air.
Drinking sweat off. They are doing all kinds of things.
They are sparking flares in the arena.
I've seen a few
and people are jumping, literally jumping in the arena. And these things they don't happen in the NBA.
Nope.
So if he can perform in that atmosphere, what makes you think that he can play in the NBA? For me, it's a funny thing.
Some of those Euro basketball ambiances and atmospheres are crazy. Like some of the craziest I have seen. Yeah. Some of the, especially the games that go to Serbia. Goodness.
Serbia, Turkey. Serbia, Turkey.
If there's ever a Red Star and Partizan game,
run away.
That's one of them.
Greece. Panathinaikos, Olympiacos.
Those are some of the mad games. Anyway, so far, Arsenal keeping their 2-0 advantage. Looks like they will be going away with 3 points today, unless something extremely dramatic happens. Let me see if anything has changed in the other matches that are happening. I'll bring you an update on all of those really, really quickly. Nothing so far. Everything remains the same. When you go to the Bundesliga, that game between Wolfsburg and Dortmund has ended. Borussia Dortmund winning away from home by 2-1. Very rare away win. Dortmund have a thing for throwing up wins when they are in a pole position. Heidenheim and HSV has ended 2-0. HSV walking away with all 3 points. Freiburg 1, Werder Bremen 0, Mainz 2, Augsburg 0, St. Pauli 2, VfB Stuttgart 1. So that's also the lowdown in the Serie A. There's Genoa versus Napoli to come. There's also Fiorentina versus Torino. You want to say something, Maro?
Yeah, I've seen that in the Championship. Ibrahim Osman has scored for Birmingham and Fatau has scored for Leicester City. Birmingham are leading Leicester City 2-1 at the moment with 10 minutes to go in the second half.
So 2 Ghanaians on the score sheet in the same.
I want to check if Fatau scored from his junction.
I can assure you that it won't be a tap-in. That is a fact.
Yeah, he scores brilliant goals. Very difficult goals.
Scored one of his signature goals?
Yeah, he's checking it out.
Yeah, I think he has.
Oh my goodness. I know it's the only goals he has in his catalog. Anyway,
I
we have wow. Okay, so same type of goal. Fatal
No,
junction.
yeah, no. So it's a set piece. The ball comes in. He chests it down and swings immediately.
Sounds
Very-
fatalish. Anyway, Barca are up by 2-0.
Yeah.
Lamine Yamal has scored for Barcelona. Dani Olmo with the assist. Meanwhile, Wolves are being forced into a change. Angel Gomez gone off for Bellegarde. Angel Gomez, I believe, is limping. So, you've seen the fatal goal.
Yeah,
just
I've seen it.
Incredible how
Very smart finish. Chest the ball. I mean, boom.
Oh, we have an update. Big one. Everton have taken the lead against Fulham at Craven Cottage. 83 minutes played. O'Brien has scored against Fulham. Is it quite you were talking about Fulham having this habit of, we were talking about them having this habit of making games difficult and more complex for themselves. Well, looks like they are headed for that type of game again.
And dropping points from losing positions. That's the biggest thing. I mean, it's different if you lose. I mean, from the start, like
You mean dropping from winning positions?
dropping from winning positions, and that for me is the frustrating bit about Fulham, in the sense that they're a very good side. Marco Silva, I mean, very clear as day that this guy is a very good coach, but his side, for some strange reason, just can't seem to maintain leads.
So that goal is being subjected to a VAR check.
The fact that they're even drawing, the fact that they even considered a goal.
It's been subjected to a VR
it shouldn't
check.
have
So
happened.
I'll give you an update on that in a bit. That's with regards to that. I think there's some African games happening. The CAF Champions League. I think we can get a quick update on some of those matches.
So the Heidenheim Hamburger game, Hamburg won by 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah, Königsdorfer started for Hamburg.
Your boy Königsdorfer.
Yeah, the
Ket
Black Stars,
Okrekus Königsdorfer.
the Black Stars forward. He started that game and he played 68 minutes. In that particular game. So
Well, when you go to the CAF Champions League, Power Dynamos of Zambia have been on the lips of Ghanaians in the last 48 hours. They beat RS Berkane of Morocco by 2-0. Petro Atletico of Angola kindly engaging Simba Club of Tanzania. Simba have a red card in that game and it's only 45 minutes played. Petro Atletico leading by a 0-0. FAR Rabat of Morocco play Young Africans Yanga of Tanzania at 7 p.m. There's also Kabile of Algeria and Al Ali, the owners of the competition, meeting a little later. When you talk about the CAF Confederations Cup, Azam FC of Tanzania are up 1-0 against Maniama of DRC. So that's the word so far on these. Some African football to chew on around the continent.
Yes, still on African football. Yesterday, Al Hilal, they played Al Hilal Omdurman. Yeah, they played in Africa, and Kamaruddin Mahmoudou, he came off the bench and he played for Al Hilal. Recently moved from Midiama to Al Hilal, and that's a good thing because these days or in recent months, the Ghana players that move over to other African countries, especially the top level ones, for some strange reason, they don't get to play very well. They don't get to play that much.
You know what? There's a Kotoko left back.
Kotoko,
Imoro.
Yeah. Then you look at Albert Amo. Recently, he
Just came back.
Yeah, Al Ali Benghazi, and he's just returned. And the reports coming in is that they are ready to let him leave on a permanent basis and no longer on a loan basis. So
Kwame Poku.
Yeah, went and came back quickly.
I think we can even do a feature on the struggles of Ghanaian players in North Africa.
Kwame Pepra, even South Africa,
The
PSL.
Yeah.
Kwame Pepra and co. He used to play for Kim Faisal, moved over to
Orlando
Pirates. Initially, he started very well.
Yep.
Then
Just
next thing
fizzled out.
Just fizzled out. I think so far, with the exception of Richard Ofori, the rest haven't necessarily had a very good time.
I feel like the South African Premier League people even have like more decent runs. The North African runs are not decent at all. Like 6 months, 9 months, the players are either back, have been released, like
Yeah.
are crying that they are not being paid. Like there's always something. If you take,
did you go to North Africa?
I'm not even sure, but I take away success stories, right? John Entry,
Harrison Affo,
Eric Bequin, Harrison Affo. Those are just three players that managed to make
in recent years.
Yeah.
And even that Christ,
it's a long time ago. Harrison Affo was
yeah.
legendary for Esperance, but that's a long time ago. John Entry, yes, moved around, but can say that he's had a really good career up there. Eric Bequin was good for like 2 or 3 seasons, and then they started all their stuff. There was even Junior Agogo, I remember, to Zamalek.
Yeah, he
all kinds of controversy about he's not sweating enough
in games.
Oh,
yeah, like he played a full 90-minute game and he didn't sweat, and so because of that they wanted to abrogate his contract. Like
all kinds of craziness. Look, it's worth exploring. I'm sure we can think about it anyway. But 2-0 Arsenal still lead. Wolves up or down by 3-1 against Chelsea. Still have 5 minutes to play. Let's quickly just touch on the looks like there's something. Okay, so Everton leading 2-1. That goal has been confirmed. Let's touch briefly on that Newcastle game that's to come. That game is at 5:30. They have their lineups out already for that one. Newcastle United, again, like we've established, different team at home, different team on the road. Today they have Wissa, Barnes, and Murphy leading their line. Tonali, Guimaraes, Willock, Thiaw, Botman, Hall, and Trippier. Pretty strong side going into this game. Just quick thoughts on that Newcastle and Voltmada on the bench. Anthony Ilanga, he's been one of the most catastrophic signings this season, and some way somehow he's gone under the radar because he plays for Newcastle. I was rooting for Ilanga. I thought that 50 million was a little excessive for him, but again, if you were an analytics person, you ran the numbers, everything showed that he was trending in a positive direction. Some of the chances I have seen him miss have been nothing short of criminal. Like I have seen him do. No, I'm serious. Some of the stuff that he's been doing on the pitch. If it was not the fact that it was pro football, you will be yanked off the pitch immediately. And so I don't know where it's gone wrong.
It's a brilliant goal in midweek.
I don't know
against Man City in the Carabao Cup.
What's it gone wrong for him? I mean, generally, because I thought he was trending upward. I think had a great season before this one.
Yeah, he's one of those players that what's the right word? Rhythm. Yes. He's one of those players that is a rhythm kind of player. If it's on song, yeah. Even if
everything will happen for him.
Everything will happen for him. Even if he gets maybe a yellow card related suspension for just one game, it might just end up breaking his rhythm to the extent that he'll go on a dry spell for like maybe 2 months. That's what is his problem. And when you come into a Newcastle team that has a fortified front line, it will be difficult for you to be able to maintain that rhythm because they already have their old school throwback number 9 in Waltmada. Then they have ample support striker in Johan Wissa. There's Anthony Gordon, there's Harvey Barnes in there. There's this Danish guy also in there. He's the backup striker. He's of Nigerian descent, but I think he plays for he represents Denmark because he was born there. So the sports, the battle for the sports, they are really tight. Jacob Ramsey can also even play along the wings too, along the front line as in as a support striker. So if you are Elanga, you are not guaranteed a starter spot. And for a rhythm kind of player, that is not the best. So that for me is the reason, one of the main reasons why he struggled to live up to the billing. Because when he is on song, yeah, he's brilliant, and that's the same. That's the thing that happened for him at Nottingham Forest. He was getting consistent run of games, and it got him to be able to build that flow. At Man United, yes, he's young, or yes, he was young then. So you can pin that a little bit on on naivety or youthfulness, that one of the traits of youth players is that they are not consistent. One moment they are good, the next moment they aren't good. But it was one of the main things that affected him at Man United, that he's not one of those players that can sit on the bench, miss out on 2 games, come in, play 60 minutes, and even give you an assist. No, it will be quite difficult for him to do so. So unless he's getting consistently playing 70 minutes, 80 minutes for maybe a month stretch, you are not going to get him to play the way he did last season at Nottingham Forest. And for me, that's his problem, and that's the reason why he didn't necessarily thrive at a top club like Man United, because there were more options battling for that position, and he wasn't getting that kind of rhythm. He goes to a club that is small, and he gets that kind of chance to be able to build that rhythm. And so, he was able to do very well. Now he moves to a team that's a top team, playing in the Champions League, and is back to the same old stuff, because this time around the competition is a bit more tight and is bigger than what he was used to at Nottingham Forest. So that's the little bit I have on Ilanga.
Anthony Ni Langa Ilanga. Charlie.
I mean, on Ilanga, like I'm a big believer in players can get better, but I don't think he was at the £55 million level.
I don't think so too.
But
I mean,
he had double digits in assists, so it comes with it.
And I'm saying that I look at Newcastle, like they buy players off analytics from the way they move. I don't know. I'm telling you, from the way they move, they look at like he made these level of sprints per 90. Then they compare it with who made the same numbers. He was top 3 in sprints, so maybe he's projected to be top 1 or top 2 by the end of the season. Okay, look at crosses per 90. They look at a lot of those things, and they were looking at his numbers and like, you know what? In a Forest team where it was more of a poverty team, didn't create a lot of chances, these are good numbers. Maybe if he's in a team that actually like holds on to the ball and does A, B, and C, the numbers will be better. And that's why teams like Brighton...
Breakaway.
That should be a 3rd goal. Oh, and we have a 3rd goal. Arsenal have scored a 3rd. Is that Gyökeres again?
Yeah. The substitutes combining.
Is that what you were talking about? He scores. He tends to score his type of
just-
goal. It's like
very
reminds me a lot of Filippo Inzaghi.
how fallen, how
Yeah.
struggling to use the ball.
With
but
his hip, the ball can hit his knee. Like
But to be fair, this one I don't think Martinelli meant to pass the ball. I think
no, he
didn't
didn't.
score.
He actually
he
didn't.
He overhit the he overran it.
He overran it.
He overran the ball clearly. Because, and I've seen him do this a couple of times. Even how he beat the player looked
Martinelli.
Looked a little fortunate.
Yeah, Martinelli. That's Martinelli's thing. Like he can't control his pace.
So if you see how he runs toward the ball, maybe I'm being unfair.
He didn't mean to pass.
They didn't mean to
Nah,
pass.
that was not a pass. I think he miscontrolled the
Let me
ball.
see. Okay, let's look at it.
He didn't raise his head.
Nah, he miscontrolled that ball. That was not a
he
pass.
miscontrolled the
I don't think he was.
I think he meant to pass it.
Either which ways he came off. Either which ways he
Or if
came
he
off.
meant to pass it, he would have passed it better. Gyökeres had to stretch for it.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
Almost missed it actually.
Yeah, I think he meant to pass it, but he ended up almost overhitting
Hitting the
it,
ball.
and it was down to Gyökeres being able to make up for the overhead pass and tap the ball into the net. That's why he stretched.
Look at
I mean,
look at the Arsenal fans doing the
because there was no
Gyökeres.
need for him to stretch when it comes
Yeah.
to this chance. There's no need for him to stretch, but because the pass was a bit overhead, that's why he had to stretch it.
Arsenal fans are doing the Gyökeres
since
in
the year
stands.
started, I think he has 6 goals. No Premier League player has more goals than him in all competitions.
Victor Gyökeres?
Victor Gyökeres. So as much as it doesn't look like he's impacting the team, he's
getting his job.
he's
done.
getting goals.
doing his thing.
He's getting his numbers. That's the best way I can
And
put
and,
it.
and he's not
that's
doing
where
it
his
with a lot of
reputation
fuss.
will
Maybe
go.
that's why we are not
Yeah,
out here.
it's just like what you mentioned the last time about Richarlison. That how did Richarlison score 9 goals in the Premier League this season?
Yeah.
It's because the goals that he scores, they are in blowout losses and those things. So you wouldn't necessarily focus on it. And it's the same thing as Igor Thiago. Igor Thiago has double figures in goals this season for Brentford of all teams. But he's flown under the radar because he's scoring penalties, a lot of penalties, tapping. So people don't necessarily pay attention to it. And on top of that is Brentford. So yeah, it comes with it.
Well, it definitely comes with it. We are wrapping up here on the Republic of Football. Arsenal Football Club emphatic winners on the day. 1 more minute to play in that game against Sunderland. Is 3-0. Gyökeres with a brace. Zubimendi on the score sheet as well. Happy day for Arteta. This was a game in which they dropped points in the first leg, or in the reverse fixture, if I can put it that way. So, big time win for them.
I think they got a clean sheet last week against Leeds as well.
Yeah.
So they
right now that their backline is solid again, looks like the defensive performances have also become a little more consistent.
I'm hearing talk about the quadruple and things. I think people should temper that a bit. I get that they're in the League Cup final and that one is guaranteed, and they probably win the how do you call it, the Premier League. Given that is not guaranteed, but they're looking like they're in pole position. But a quadruple, a Champions League. They've never won the Champions League before. I think
last season they made it to the semi-final.
So they think that they can
and they lost to PSG.
They can go one better.
Yeah, the eventual winners. They lost to PSG. So
in their minds,
it's not crazy to.
In their minds, nobody's standing in their way. So
I mean, it's the FA Cup that looks a bit dodgy. I mean, because with the FA Cup, it's too all over the place, and it's too out wide for them to be able to have a clear path at winning it. But Carabao Cup final, yes, they can hinge their bet on beating Man City and taking advantage of their sloppiness in the second half.
I think that's where the disappointment starts against Man City, and I think that is something that
and Pep is trying to go out on a high as well.
Oh yeah.
So there's that. So those are. Let me just take concluding thoughts from you guys before we step out of the studio. Let me take yours first. Biggest takeaway from today's batch of matches? Could it be a red card, a goal, whatever it is? Thoughts before we go?
Biggest takeaway. Yeah, Man United winning their 4th game in a row. I mean, that's the biggest talking point, because the results that we've recorded so far are pretty much straightforward. Chelsea beating Wolves. Right now, you have 2 minutes left, and it's 3-1 advantage Chelsea. You have Arsenal beating Sunderland by 3-0. Pretty much straightforward. Burnley losing to West Ham. Nothing too fancy. Bournemouth drawing 1-0 with Aston Villa. So it has to be the Man United one, knowing very well the implication of Man United's win as against the Aston Villa draw. So what that means is that on the league table, Man United closed the gap on Aston Villa in terms of the points, the point gap, and in that sense, more momentum for Man United in the sense that yes, they can smell Champions League qualification on the horizon, and so it will have to be the Man United win over Aston Villa, despite the fact that yes, it was against a 10-man Tottenham Hotspur, and even with that red card bit, yes, it stirs up more conversation about Christian Romero and his future, and looking at his actions as a Spurs captain.
Final thoughts?
Yeah. So right now it's 3 points. 3 points between Man United and Aston Villa, who rank 3rd and 4th respectively. So yeah.
I think the Romero one is an interesting point, given the whole debacle. Since he's been at Spurs, I think he's had 6 red cards. No one has had more red cards than him. And then a struggling Tottenham team that need every point they can get. I think it could be troubling for Tottenham, especially if Crystal Palace go and win tomorrow. Then that takes them to 15th, and they are basically exactly where they were last season, but they don't have
Granit Xhaka and Arteta catching up.
Sure for it.
Yeah.
Which is funny because they always used to butt heads when Arteta and Granit Xhaka were together. When Xhaka was captain, always complaining about one thing or the other.
I mean, that's when they were struggling initially. That was in their early days when people were saying Arteta should be sacked. So
that's why Xhaka eventually left. He didn't see eye to eye. I think he stripped him of his captaincy and things like that. It became really controversial. Made Aubameyang captain. Aubameyang turned out not to be a great captain either. It's very funny times. Anyway,
I mean, Cristiano Romero, clearly he watched a lot of games involving Pepe and Sergio Ramos growing up.
Romero is not serious.
So
every time somebody has a red card in that Spurs defense,
I
know check. I know it is him. Every time I know it's him. Thank you very much.
It's just like a
Real Madrid from back in the day.
It's just like a French League end game involving Stade Rennais. whenever there's a yellow card, I'm going out to look if it's Alidu Said who got that yellow card.
Don't do that. Thank you, yeah. Thank you to Coach Christopher Nimley. Thank you guys out there for getting to us. We finished with 229 votes, 72% Carrick in, 28% higher and experienced manager. So we'll see you tomorrow. We have a big game between Liverpool and Manchester City. That should be good. I am Benjamin Nketiah. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Same time tomorrow. We'll be back.